feeling. Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I? Love the touch, but never love the feeling.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out.
Hello everyone and welcome back to EURC 2021. My name is RW Dragon and I'm joined on desk for this evening with some lovely people. 4 series await us tonight, all best of 5s in the group stages of EURC 2021. So let's get started with this sort of 15 minutes or so of a little bit of a preamble, a recap, if you will, of Monday's events. So, Ulek, Stealthy, on the desk with me tonight. Well, Stealthy, let's start with you. I mean, Group A has been wild so far. I think Newer pointed out earlier that every game has ended with a sweep 3-0 for the winning side. Tilburg and Berlin Phoenix both undefeated, 6-0 in their games from Monday.
Yeah, that's a great start. And then at the same time, we could say from Berlin was of course expected. They were of course a team to be one to look out for. Very strong in last season of EURC as well, and now with the pickup of Quintessence, I think it's already going to change a little bit of that dynamic, because we saw that the flow between the third and the old Berlin Phoenix was a little bit disrupted, and I think right now with Quintessence also being highly level player already in that bubble scene, making it close to trying to participate in RLCS, he definitely does bring some sort of stability to the team to where everybody can shine to a new level.
And Tilburg as well. They're new to the EURC, coming straight in from the qualification and going 6-0 as well. It was remarkable seeing them on Monday. I think I had the opportunity to cast them at one point and putting on a fantastic show for us, and didn't think they would actually keep their form coming into it, but Smickelbear led the charge against NUIG Griffins, and as well as his teammates, and fantastic work from both of them. And I think our actual panel member, not New Alaic, Wet Tiger, has joined us just in time to talk a little bit about our Group B matches. I mean, the Loughborough, the UK champions, having to bring in a substitute for their matches yesterday, and they were upset by Beckett Bears 3-2, and having to go 1-1, whereas Rotterdam 2-0 off their Monday games to start off their season.
Yeah, I didn't thought the Loughborough Lions would lose a game in the group stage, or they would lose a game that early, so I didn't thought they would get upset. But yeah, it's really surprising, and it's closer than we probably expected it. I thought the British teams would do way better than they did in some momentums. Just when we remember the Apes game, where they pretty much beat the Badgers, still comes up in my mind. Yeah, surprising result so far.
I mean, it's particularly surprising for me as someone who watches Loughborough and has to listen to them talk constantly as a team that sort of say they have a deep roster, but then they bring in a sub, and Beckett Bears come along and say, all right, you're bringing a sub for us, we'll just tear you apart with that then. And so they did, 3-2. It was a game 5, so maybe I am being a little bit having a little bit of an overreaction to the tearing apart, but still, Loughborough, not the start they would have been hoping from EURC after that, in fact, 4-1 loss in game 5. But let's shine a light a little bit on Erasmus Esports Rotterdam. I mean, I got a message from our production earlier saying that they didn't have probably the greatest of Dutch seasons that they could have ever had, but they've come into this split red hot, almost upset by Pixel Esports.
No, don't say Pixel. Don't say Pixel.
Yeah, is it
okay, PXL? So you have to pronounce every letter individually. Yes, I say Pixel, but that's because I have a history with them and I've always called them Pixel, and at this point it's a meme. But if you want to be correct, Dragon, I'm going to correct you right now. It's PXL.
That should be they'll be glad to hear someone correct me on that. But PXL, you seem to know a little bit about them, know their history. I mean, Cinerus, our admin, said they sort of came out of nowhere a little bit. So why don't you shine a light on them just a little bit? So for the next few weeks, we can say actually PXL are ones to look out for.
I mean, I would never say that they are ones to look out for. The main thing that they have going for them is everybody is definitely above that GC1 border, so they have a decent understanding of the game. At the same time, they also have Chaos. Chaos is a coach, is also a caster. He does have that bigger level of knowledge and higher level of understanding of the game. So he might be able to help Roswell and Lollipopper with that as well. But then at the same time, you have to realize as well that Pixel is, of course, a Institute of Applied Science. They have a gaming location where they could play together, and I think that is definitely an aspect, even during these times of Corona, that they would be able to play together in the same room and have a more direct way of communicating with each other. Because we know as well, Dragon, that if you are a split like second late, with a call, it completely changes the dynamic of the game, and right there, that might already have helped them against Erasmus.
And Tiger, what are your thoughts about these new teams, especially like PXL going from, is it Belgium?
Yes,
yeah.
Belgium.
So yeah, especially these new teams actually coming in. I mean, got the Belgian team starting to bring their play into EURC. Got the Polish teams now have spots dedicated to them towards EURC. How do you think the future looks for EURC with these new sides?
Yeah, it's really exciting to me that there are more teams and definitely more universities coming into the league and into the European Championship. I think that those teams definitely have potential. And if they grow in their scene, we could see one of them go really far in the tournament not too soon. I'm not sure if they can get there this year, but in the upcoming years, I think that they will be more diversified and they probably can break the German and British strength.
Continuing on, I believe our other Belgian side, AES ULB, had a reverse sweep on their Monday games against the team GEA Fair Play Martini, one of the best Dutch sides that we have in the game, and AES ULB just came out of nowhere and reverse swept them.
Well, you can definitely say they came out of nowhere, Dragon, and as you said correctly, Fair Play Martini was the best team on paper in the sense that they were able to take it all the way in the MBSC, of course, the Dutch side, only for the Netherlands though, because for the two qualifying Belgium teams, we had, of course, a smaller, of course, there are less universities in Belgium, created tournament by BCL, or Belgian College League, and the University of Brussels actually is AES. Were able to qualify themselves immediately from that first qualifier, and actually with a pretty dominant performance, even taking down PXL. We ended up still making it in that second qualifier. But yeah, it was kind of unexpected, but if you were to rewatch the games, it was also Fair Play Martini was a little bit losing that touch. It all started with one mishap from Rebel, where he got a slight mistouch, ended up in an own goal. He was, I think, in the end able to own goal 3 times in the entire series, so that really disrupted the flow. And I think that right there for the University of Brussels, the moment they got going, they felt a little bit more stable, had a little bit more confidence. Is that really what dragged them over the line against winning against a strong team as Martini?
And then on the little bit of the other side of the coin, Bournemouth, sort of as expected. I have to highlight them. I mean, they are one of the teams at the top of the group, trying to defend that top spot, going 2-0 this week. But do have to point out, Engines Stuttgart taking them to 5 games with 2 6-0 wins in those games. I believe Wet Tiger, I believe you're one of the German lads joining us on streaming on the desk tonight. Why don't you tell us more about Stuttgart?
It's really impressive that they could get these performances against a really good team. We've seen them play really well against lower competition, but the Barracudas, if that's the right pronunciation, they are a great team from England, and so it's quite impressive that they won those 2 games. But they're not really consistent most of the time. They can be really special. They have those 2 players in Atgos, and most of the time it's give me his name with D. I don't get him right now, but they are really, really well, and they can single-handedly get a game if they're going. So they have to get their AP performance out of them, but a 2-3 loss against the Barracudas ain't that bad for a start. So I still think they have good chances of getting out of this group and even in the top 3.
Now, let's have a little bit of a look at Group D. We actually are in for a bit of a treat tonight, as we do have 2 Group D matches later on, with the GEA Fair Play Mojitos facing off against Birmingham Badgers and Portsmouth Paladins facing off against Berlin Basilisks. But taking a look at Portsmouth Paladins, they're one of the teams that come from the UK, of course. I've got plenty of experience watching them. Society Showdown Champions, it's a UK off-season event that brought in TUD Apes as well. But Portsmouth, they ended up winning that 3-1 against Bournemouth Barracudas. But then they had to get through qualification, which they did quite handily, to be honest. Only 2 games dropped, Newcastle and FHDW, and they also beat UWE. So 2 sides in the EURC beaten by Portsmouth on their roads to EURC 2021. And they beat Esports 20 to start off their campaign. So any reactions to that to start off with?
I mean, we know that 20 Esports is like one of the more unstable teams, and we saw it in the first game as well, that they had to play against the Badgers, and they were able to actually, take it to the Badgers. They ended up winning it in game 5, but it was everything but a very convincing victory. We had, for example, Forza that was just hitting the ball across the field, showing moments of weakness, and then actually the lowest guy that was actually only added in for the, I think, very last qualifier, even Quiver, he stood up, he carried the team by his own, he had some insane dribbles, some insane goals himself, but then at the same time, we have to be fair and be honest to ourselves, Dragon. You can pop off in one series, but you can never translate that into the next one, and I think really that's where it happened. Quiver not being able to work his magic in the same way as he was able to in that first series, and I think that's why they went down.
And then, as well tonight, Berlin Basilisks have a little bit of history with EURC. They did actually play in EURC 2019 a few years ago, 5th in Germany, but as one of the highest teams decided to decline their spot in the competition, they picked up that baton and now are going to be starting to run with it tonight. Berlin Basilisks have 2 games this evening, one on stream, one just before it off stream against Salford. Do we have any predictions on that? I mean, Wet Tiger, these guys are, of course, one of the German sides coming into this, having a 5th place time in Uniliga last season. How do you think they're going to face off against Salford? And then how do you think they're going to take that into their next game against Portsmouth?
I think those are both pretty hard matches if you compare it to the group. But the Basilisks are a team that really impressed me. So it was their first season in Germany, like last season, and they played really well from time to time. It's a team that really likes to pressure the enemy team, but if they do it against better teams, there can be some easy goals, like easy clearances that will go into net. But it's really insane if they can get their pressure going, and I'm quite excited to see them against the top level British competition. They lost to Stuttgart, I think, in the qualifiers. Yeah, I think they can win this. I think they can win both of these games. I wouldn't be surprised if they win at least one of them.
So let's start thinking about our first game, however, on stream tonight. FHDW facing off against York Pun Name. York, they had a very impressive off-season, but they've sort of, as soon as they got into the full NSC season, and in fact EURC as well, just a little bit, they started to cool off, coming through our qualifiers in neat fashion after a 3-2 win against Liverpool, after losing the first qualifier to Beckett Bears, in fact, in 5 games as well. But on the other side of the coin, FHDW, also a team that came through the qualifiers, came through in the lower bracket, as they beat Essex 3-2. Classic switch there, losing in game 5. But both these teams standing on opposite sides of records, as FHDW are on 0-1, whereas York Pun Name are 1-0. So how are you guys feeling about the game?
I think I'd rather pass this one to Wet Tiger first, because of course he has a little bit of a better understanding on the side from FHDW. You have a better understanding, of course, from Yorkman, so I think I'm gonna keep my vote till the last one to see what you guys say first.
Yeah, like FHD is a team I'm really excited about. I've seen them in the regulation matches, and the game they've lost to was Berlin Phoenix, so that's pretty much was the first time they faced a real Division 1 opponent. So you really can't read too much out of a loss against Berlin, and I think they can get the game to York. What I've seen from them in the regulations really motivates myself for them, and like I was a huge fan in the regulations, and I think they can be a top 6 team in Germany, and that might be enough to get a win against York.
Well, Stealthy, I'm not going to let you hide from it. I'm the host here.
Yeah, but you go first. You go first. You know York better than I do. You go first.
I do know York fairly well, and they are a good team. But you know, like I said, they've slightly cooled off in the NSE regular season. I think EURC needs to be where they pick it up again if they are going to do well in NSE and in fact EURC. So with FHDW, they had to have a bit of a struggle in the first match, having faced Berlin Phoenix to start off their campaign, whereas York Pun Name just had to face off against the currently 1-1 UWE to start off their EURC campaign. It's going to be a tough one going into this. But you know what? I'll start off predictions, as I'm going to just put Stealthy just right on pressure by putting predictions first. I'm thinking this is going to go all the way. This is such a tough and close match, and I think York maybe starting to gather a little bit, but maybe a little bit in their comfort zone to start off their campaign facing off against one of the UK and National League teams. So I'm going to give it to them, though. I think they are going to start gathering a little bit of momentum and a little bit of fancy plays in this, and I'm going to say York 3-2.
All right. I guess you're gonna bully me now and let me go. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's correct. Go on.
I mean, I saw the game scores between Berlin Phoenix and FHDW, and they were actually reasonably close. Like, I think it was twice a 1-goal difference, once a 2-goal difference. So it shows that they have that potential to try and rival at least Berlin Phoenix. So I think I have to follow our German friend here, actually, RW Dragon, and I think we're going to give it to FHDW, but I think it's going to go to Game 5 at least.
And Wet Tiger, final prediction.
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely keeping the German flag up. I'm excited for these guys. I'm excited for the new German season, and I'm definitely excited to see them here. So I'm expecting a close game, but I expect FHD to win it. I like with a 3-2 score as well in a Game 5.
Game 5's all around, but that does it for the desk. That does it for the boring part, the Talk It League. Thank you, Stealthy and Wet Tiger, for joining me. But now it's time for the proper game to begin. Thanks you all for joining me on the desk. And Newer Lake, let's get this underway. Join me. Go on. Join me in the caster's desk, Newer.
Yeah, hey, welcome everyone to the game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the show. And in my first stunning trick of the night, I, magnificent New Alekio, have stolen RW Dragon away from the panel to join me here on the cast as well as we get ready to jump into this first game.
Just been sitting here and suddenly I'm on the casting desk.
It's magnificent, isn't it? Like, I mean, how does he do it? Nobody knows. It's just pure magic, and you're going to have to accept that as home, as we have players now, RW Dragon, joining the lobby for this first game of the evening. FHDW Esports Alpha will be taking on York Pun Name. We have the desk fairly hung. I think there was a lot of back and forth there, but at the end of the day, I mean, the best we can hope for is a good series here.
Best we can hope for is all our predictions for a Game 5. Yes. I love a close series. Love a good Game 5 to begin a stream. Especially as a host. I don't really need to keep casting. I can just put it all on the line here and hope for a wonderful Game 5.
That's all we want. Good, clean Rocket League, and it's going to come down to both of these teams to show it to us. It's neither team really doing anything just in these first 30 seconds, testing each other out in the middle of the pitch. This is a chance for Farfan, who's up and is going to be denied by Tinney on the goal line. This is FHDW getting the first shot on goal, getting nearly the second shot on goal as well. Lady Penelope will take this back down to the other end of the pitch. New York have weathered that first attack, weathered that first storm, and will now be looking for a bit of counter-attacking pressure of their own. And we have seen, especially Lady Penelope, how deadly this York side can be on the attack. The flip reset comes through, but it's cleared off the back wall. Zim, who watched that one all the way.
You see York, I feel like York, this might be a knee-jerk reaction. They have a little bit of that old C9 about them. I mean, Lady Penelope has so many mechanics up his sleeve. It feels like the squishy of sort of setting up a play, and if it goes in, yeah, that's perfectly well and fine. It's a very nice goal. But then JavaScript and Tinney are two great players on the follow-up, and in fact, two great players in their own right to have behind Lady Penelope. And start off with this FHD team from Gladbach, finding it difficult to break through York.
They are for the time being, but York, I'm noticing a lot of space left on the defense, and it's allowing these chances to come through for FHDW. Denied once again, but York are going to need to clean this up. Is my computer dying? It is. I'm going to have to... I'll be back.
Yep. I thought I was good at throwing it from the desk to the cast, but it seems like Newer Lake is just on a different level of throwing it from caster to caster. Lady Penelope and York trying to bring it forward. Tinney's shot just high, looking for a follow-up, just going wide for Farron. Clear out defense, cooks a pinch upfield as JavaScript will have to clear it off the backboard. Taking it from the side. The edge roll, Tinney taking it away very quickly. This is fast play from York, but they haven't really challenged as much in clinical fashion as much as FHDW. Farron kicks off the scoring. Make it 1-0. Great play off the wall on Farron. It's simple as that to finish off the play. Put it into the back of the net. So York having to start from square one. JavaScript sending it upfield. Farron needs to clear it off the backboard as he does upfield. Zim can't find the players. Lady Penelope knocks it back towards him. Tinney trying to make the play upfield, but my Dottie off the backboard. Shot saved by Lady Penelope. It's his time to bring it forward. Blocked out by Zim. JavaScript smashing it outfield, taking possession away from his York teammate, however. By Dottie off the sidewall. JavaScript down. Zim keeping it out of the way of gold as Farron will come up and clear it upfield. Tinney rotates back, gets the catch. Starts to bring it forward again. It seems to be York's plan at the moment to try and bring it forward with as much control as possible, but FHDW are countering that perfectly. Fast challenges and calm defense from the German side. It's Tinney pushing it towards center clearance by Farron. Lady Penelope blocks out the play as that moves off to the side. Zim taking control on the sidewall. Bringing it into the middle of the play field of play, but no one there to challenge that as Lady Penelope looking for the flip reset 5-1. Farron clears it up. His JavaScript sending off the sidewall, has control of this, looking for the 50-50, finds it and just about doesn't win it out as his momentum takes him past the ball. Zim to the side. Lady Penelope again looking for control, but just a few too many heavy touches. Tinney misreads the players. My Dottie has an open net to shoot on. FHDW kick off game one with a 2-0 lead, 1:06 left on the clock.
And hey, it sounds like it's been exciting while I've been gone, and FHDW out to an early lead. And hey, I'm also back. My second magic trick, I've disappeared for a little while off the cast and returned out of nowhere, thin air on that one.
I feel like you did a bit of a Penn and Teller by just broadcasting the trick out, though.
Well, possibly, you know, but hey, sometimes the best magic tricks are the ones that you can explain and the audience still has no idea how you did it. And FHDW, they're kind of pulling off a bit of a magic trick here. Holding York scoreless is no easy task at all. They might not do it from some of the duty. It's there nearly for Lady Penelope, denied by Zim. How has this not gone in for York? The green team is still being held scoreless here. In just 30 seconds left in this game number one, I mean, it's looking very likely FHDW are about to take this one down. and holding York to 0 goals while they do it. One last chance for JavaScript. That's a great shot. It's going to roll out down. The accuracy just not quite there. The follow-up not there either for York, who just not quite managed to put a goal in. And this is just unbelievable defense coming through from the German side in game number 1. And if this keeps up, I mean, this series is going to be really difficult for York.
They've just been doing their basics just really well throughout this game, and not only that, but I believe it was my Dottie on the line just pulling off some absolute heroics to keep the ball out in the last few seconds. I don't think it would have made a difference. That would have been just 1 goal defended, whereas York needed 2. But Gladbach, FHDW, they've been putting on a bit of a clinic of how to do the basics and how to add it to high-level gameplay in really good fashion.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you're saying, it wouldn't have mattered all that much, even if the 1 goal had gone in, and it wouldn't have mattered for the game result. But I mean, for York, with how close those shots were in the last few seconds of that game, the fact that none of them fell. I mean, Tinney denied twice by the post, and then Lady Penelope denied on the follow-up by Zim on the line. I mean, that's got to kind of rattle the confidence a little bit coming into game 2 as well.
My mistake. I just saw the highlights of the play in the background. I want to make sure I get it right. Zim, I apologize. Those were some fine saves put on in the last few seconds. Yep. But Mike Dottie has been doing a great work being the transition upfield. I mean, a few occasions he didn't quite have the support with him. I reckon FHDW could have had a few more goals if they had supported Mike Dottie upfield. Or in fact, Vifarin, who also has done a great job in doing with the same work. But they've done the job well enough. 2 goals to the better in that game. And let's see if they can continue that trend with game 2.
I'm sure they'd like to. I mean, I'm sure, you'd like to take this 3-0. Of course, FHWD, they're coming in 0-1. York are coming in 1-0. And while their opponents may have been of a slightly different caliber, the scorelines being 1-1 for both these teams in the middle of the group would still definitely be how FHDW would like to start off their week and start off their entire tournament here in EURC.
Tricky start for York, however. Beat a team on your home ground, home turf against UWE. Don't have to travel outside England for that, but now you have to have a few matches in Germany.
That's it. Is that a look to the future of EURC? We're going to be paying all these teams to travel for every match. The English teams get to visit Germany. That'll be great. As long as the casters get to go with them, I am all for it. But right now, look, we're going to focus back in on this game. Lady Penelope is trying to get clear, and York are still searching for their first goal in this series. FHDW not going to make it easy for them at all. My Dottie's putting that forward. It's a good bump, disrupting the York defense a little bit, and Lady Penelope's left in a little bit of an awkward spot. Has boost, but bounced off the wall. Did not favour Lady Penelope. Verfarin is up for that. Was denied by the defense. Bit of a double commit, but not punished by FHDW. This is now Lady Penelope using those mechanics in offense, but not able to get the flick over Zim, who read that one all the way. Is now trying to read it over JavaScript as well. But JavaScript got up in time to deny that one. We're in the middle of the pitch. Once again, that's a good fake by Tinney, but doesn't have the boost, doesn't have the 50 to get past the wall. Verfarin is towards goal, and Lady Penelope is up, manages to deny that one, but FHDW are definitely the more threatening team right now.
At the moment, just threatening at the midfield and coming forward explosively at the York net. But good work to deny them. Good positioning from Lady Penelope. Good read of the crossbar.
No! How many times can this not happen? This is exactly what happened last game around. Tinney rattles one off the woodwork. Lady Penelope doesn't quite have the follow-up. This time around it was the woodwork that denied Lady Penelope as well. But, I mean, York, we said the confidence has to be rattled. It has to keep going down as these shots just missing by a matter of inches.
You hate to see it, and you hate to say the words, it's just not our day, but I'm sure they'll be trying to shrug that off for as long as possible. They've had so many good chances, and that cannot be denied. But the important part is missing the actual final finish. There's 2 double commits for that. Tinney comes through.
It nearly works, but it may backfire. Verfarin misses in the middle of the pitch, though, so the on target isn't there. Lady Penelope launches one back towards the goal. It's a little bit dangerous. Double commit in the air by Verfarin and Zim, but they're okay for now. This will be Zim up once again. Hits it over towards JavaScript, but it's an awkward bouncing ball to deal with. So it'll be left for Lady Penelope. Good pass to Tinney. Tinney up in the air. Once again, the players had the most shots closest to target, it feels like, for York, but none of them landing just yet. Even though they're getting this sustained pressure, they're staying up here in the FHDW half. None of these shots are landing, and then all of a sudden it's just that FHDW get one big clear, they shoot from the middle of the pitch, and it feels like York are under just as much pressure.
It's like sometimes York are moving with a little bit of desperation rather than the calmness that we might have expected of them. I mean, Lady Penelope just there on a good attack.
Zim! What a pass, what a shot at the end of it. Nothing the defense can do on that one, and FHDW show a little bit of class.
Really don't need as many chances as York so far. They've just been clinical. Top shelf placement from Zim. Fantastic work from FHDW. Start off this series.
They're looking strong. I know, we were hopeful for York bringing this to a 5-game series, but they are still yet to even score a goal. Never mind really for JavaScript. Oh, he's missed! And the open net was right there in front. JavaScript can't get onto the ball on that one. And that'll mean that still, we're here at the clean sheet, right as we were talking about it. York just not able to score. As Tinney was carrying that ball back towards its own net. This is a little bit loose and scrappy in the middle of the pitch. My Dottie will put it over towards the side. Tinney now following this ball will bounce it off the corner. My Dottie in an awkward spot as JavaScript did manage to demo Zim on the line. But this is good defense. The bumps come through in revenge from FHGW, and they will stay clean for the time being. Now over towards the side wall. Tinney can try and turn on that one. That was left for Lady Penelope, but My Dottie was up and away and got the 50 well. Tinney is chasing this, low on boost. Can just try and control the ball, can try and flick. Good fake onto Zim, and beaten by My Dottie. That was a good effort, though. We've seen some very clever attempts at fake coming out from York, but, the first player might get faked by FHCW. There's always a second one sitting behind as well.
It's been great defensive positioning. Like I said, in between the first and second game, they've just been doing the basics right. When it comes down to it, a lot of the time, the basics are all you need.
I mean, look, you're kind of right. That shot, in some ways, is basic. It's just a high ball coming down off the ceiling, and Zim just gets there faster than anyone else and puts it in. It's just, you're right. It's placement, man. It's so important in Rocket League. When you're playing teams of high quality where the defenders are in the way, you need to find the way to sneak a shot around them. Zim has done a great job of that twice now in this game.
The transition upfield have been on point. The defense has been on point. This FHDW side have been on point today.
Matt, Rotterdam Dragon, this is... Oh, wait, shot on target, never mind. Warf Aaron does deny that one for the time being. Lady Penelope with the pass back, JavaScript and Tiny both in the middle. That's going to bounce and drop down for Tinney. Misses the follow-up clutch. That's dangerous though in front of the FHDW goal. My Dottie forced to make 50, which does kind of go in favour of York. They're going to keep this attack going for a little while longer, but it's missed by Tinney. A good follow-up bump. We're back in the same situation as York, just fighting for one goal in the dying seconds of the game. A goal that won't even matter, and a goal that no matter what, FHDW seem determined to deny this York side. It'll bounce down, and once again, it's 2-0. Once again in the dying seconds, York have been denied even a single goal, and FHDW are already on series point here.
The on-pitch stuff has been on point for FHDW so far, and maybe the mental game is just being on point as well. Sort of York not getting the shots on target, not getting the goals, but when they think they have it, the last few seconds, FHDW do what they do best at the moment, and that's deny York their one goal that might just pick up that momentum, pick up that spirit, the spirits of the York side. And at the moment, rather than facing down a lovely game 5, we're facing a sweep that has been incredibly entertaining but incredibly frustrated for this York team.
And when you look at the scoreboard, incredibly one-sided as well. No goals for York, 2 in each game for FHDW. And that's crazy to me because, we've talked about Lady Penelope, who's been kind of unusually quiet in these first 2 games, but really is a very gifted mechanical player. And holding Lady Penelope and the rest of this York squad completely goalless just speaks to a level of defense coming out from this FHDW side that I don't know that I expected coming into this series.
It's been one of the teams that we didn't sort of see coming as they came through the qualifiers. I mean, there's always a half eye kept on the qualifiers, sort of thing. All right, how much did you miss out in the regular season in your own league so that you had to come through qualifiers? What talent are we missing? And FHDW are definitely one of the talents that we missed out from.
They're the lowest rated German team. I mean, that's crazy to me. Look at this. They're holding York scoreless, and this is the worst German team in theory. They're getting shots on target again early in the game. How good are these other German teams? Berlin Phoenix 3-0'd this FHCW side the other day. They 3-0'd Kiel as well. I'm terrified of these German teams right now, I don't mind telling you.
It's been like this from the start of the EURC. It's been a little bit of a UK versus Germany sort of rivalry. I mean, the UK in terms of qualifiers, so many more teams got through from the UK. I mean, there's three teams in each group from the UK. Every group has 3 UK sides. But the Germans, they just come in and sort of go, oh, we don't need the quantity, we've got quality. We do the talking on the pitch, and so far that's what they've been doing. Fantastic defense, fantastic transitional play. And York don't have an answer at the moment. They've been kept at the midfield line, and as soon as they do get up, they're met by things like Zim just flying at them. It's like, all right, get through us now.
Yeah, they're just not giving me the space, not giving the breathing room to actually make something happen. That's a great pass to Rafarin, who gets a touch to it, and it'll bounce over Jaskert. Where's in the goal scorer twice in the last game? Pops it high in front of the goal again. My Dottie is going to be up, chasing this ball. We'll just touch it back towards, and you can see 3 York players just sitting there, wondering what the Germans are going to do to them next. And the answer wasn't score that time, but it feels like next time it could so easily be. Good demo in front of the goal will mean my Dottie is under a bit of pressure. It's going to be 50 by Java. That ball's going to bounce high. Tinney is up. Shot will go towards the goal. Rafarin has to make a touch, and Penelope isn't quite there for the follow-up. That was a good clear out to the side, slowing down the York attack. They're coming at it again, but Lady Penelope, all those vaunted mechanics coming to nothing in front of goal that time.
Nothing.
What? No. It's so close. It goes off the post off at 50. My Dottie nearly at the follow-up as well, and Rafarin is up once again to contest this in the air. Zim is a little bit awkwardly off the wall, has beaten his own teammate, leaves the goal open for the chance for York, but nobody there from York, and they're playing a little bit slowly. They seem scared to commit, and we've seen how deadly the FHCW counterattacks have been. York, it feels like, don't want to open themselves up to one of those at the moment. Penelope shot on target, not quite, turned right of the post. The shots just aren't landing on target as well, RW Dragon.
It does feel like a change in tactic from York, though. Maybe they're just looking for the one as opposed to trying to put a load on. Just try and get some quality being put on. But at the moment, the build-up play is what was the issue on that last play. Sort of ended up just being popped into the air, and every single day of the week, FHDW are going to clear that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're clearing this up right now. Here in this middle of the pitch, and it'll finally come to a clear for FHDW, and it'll finally be maybe a chance for them to put some pressure back on. My Dottie last man back needs to be Tinney, and does. The 50 is good. That'll give Zim a chance to do something with this ball. We've seen how threatening he can be. It goes high in front of the goal. Penelope is up but back down without even touching it, and it's left to Tinney to get clear instead. And now, you know, this was York pressure for a long while. Nothing came of it. And they're giving the chance. Bit of a rule one between the York players there by themselves in the middle of it. My Dottie, it's lofted towards goal. Lady Penelope has to twist and turn in the air to get to that one, but does just about manage to reach to it. And now York looking for the counter-attack. Penelope with a good 50. Goes around the side of Rafarin. Can't get to the ball again, though. And Zim has a chance to clear. Good 50 by Penelope, who is now just taking on the entire side of the Germans and winning by themselves. That's launching all the way. Tinney has to make the touch and does, but it's cross-face goal. It's there for Zim. Zim this time is slightly slower than Lady Penelope, and it feels like in game 2 that one would have been a goal for Zim.
York are getting so close at, well, in fact, both ends are getting so close to finding the answering goal in this game.
Oh, that's going to drop
York have to be desperate to end this goal drought that's been lasting the last few games.
I mean, surely they're not about to get perfect series here by the side of FHDW, but I mean, that's kind of the pace we're on. If we go to a goalless overtime, that becomes a very real possibility, because all it takes then is FHDW getting one. 40 seconds left, a goalless overtime is exactly what we're looking at, but this could be the chance for a great bump on Lady Penelope, but the shot will still be there. Zim and Rafarin are both back to save it. JavaScript turns it back towards goal, but Rafarin gets the touch again into the corner. We're clear for the time being. Rafarin tries to get it away. Tinney with a good block though, and we're back halfway line. The offensive pressure is mounted to nothing for York, and they're getting done. That's great 50. It's in. My Dottie just reads him like a book, and 50s dunks him all the way from, I mean, nearly halfway to the halfway line.
That was savage, absolutely savage.
Brutal.
Bring it off. They brought it off the diagonal. JavaScript trying to bring it upfield, but my Dottie's like, where do you think that ball's going? Not towards our net. No way.
Alright, I've seen this one before. It's York trying to get a goal in the last 10 seconds. It looks like maybe they've done it, but no, of course there's 2 members of FHDW on the way. Why wouldn't there be? That's how they played all series long. The clear is good. My Dottie's here. One last chance for Tinney. Won't find it. It's rolling high, but it doesn't look like there's any players from York in any position to do anything. Although, Penelope dribbling, taking it slow. You can't fake like that when you're at 0 seconds. The ball rolls onto the ground, and it's a perfect series. This is it. This has been FHDW. They didn't let York score a single goal.
And even that final challenge was perfect. I mean, when you're using that fake, of course you want You want to get out of the way of the high challenge. So when the high challenge came in, Lady Penelope only had one choice: either get dunked or try and drop it down low and keep it just above the ground. But that is such a difficult place to dribble the ball in that position. FHDW, the perfect sweep, the second one to happen in EURC this season, and probably the most exciting one that we'll have.
Yeah. I mean, look, and they were still close games. It was at most 2 goals. York gave a decent account of themselves, I think, and they were unlucky, especially in games 1 and 2, that some of those shots from Tinney didn't drop, that the follow-up just wasn't quite there, or that, you know, FHDW, credit to them, got amazing defense back in the way off those follow-up shots, even when they left it open for 1. And at the end of the day, I think that's a worthy win for FHDW. They've done very well there. It'll mean that both of these teams now end their week 1 on a 1-1 record, bang in the middle of the group, about as close to even as you can be. And with that, RW Dragon, we are going to throw it to a quick break. We will be back with an interview with a player from the winning team shortly after this. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be an exciting one.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit.
murder. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. 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 I killed it, it's murder.
We are back after the break, and we've got Zim with us from FHDW Esports Alpha after that perfect sweep against York Pun Name. 1-1 for this week, Zim, and a perfect sweep as well. How does it feel to end off this week after a tough game against Berlin Phoenix and then a perfect sweep?
So yeah, after getting swept, the sweep was obviously very nice. I think Berlin Phoenix were definitely some good opponents. We had some good games against them, could have taken one or two of them. But York was a very worthy opponent too. They had quite some good shots and could have scored a couple of goals, definitely. But we were very, very good in defense, and I think we did quite well, yeah.
And of course, coming through qualifiers, what's it like playing teams from other leagues and having to maybe change up your playstyle a bit, change up your expectations a bit? You know, what's it like now playing European Rocket League?
Very cool, actually. We're very glad to be here. We went through very, very many matches in the qualifiers and played very, very good teams too, but ended up winning the last game too. I think we lost to Portsmouth, if I remember correctly.
So it was 3-1 against Portsmouth.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of a tough ride, but we made it, and we're very glad to be here.
And in the next few weeks, how do you feel about the rest of the group stage, and what you're expecting from other teams going forward?
We are expecting them to be very good because, well, these are the best universities in Europe. So we are prepared for that. We'll try our best to win as much as possible and make it to the playoffs, of course.
That's the dream for every team. I mean, Wet Tiger, this is one of your boys. Do you have any words of encouragement, any sort of words and questions for him?
Yeah, I think they've played well. Just a question for me. It seems like you guys are really grinding the games. You really putting in the work. So you're not just playing the Division 2, you're playing Division 1 as well. And it seems like you're taking every chance you can get to play with each other. So is the team chemistry a kind of thing that is going to grow even more within the next matches? Or do you think you are already really stable as a team?
I think it's gonna grow even more because there's always room for growth, of course. But the team chemistry is definitely very, very good already. We kind of have some roles too, I'd say. For example, Midoti is very, very good at passing, while Marco is just mechanically gifted, or Fafaren. Yeah, I'd like to score a few more goals than them, I guess. So the chemistry, just the way we talk is always very chill, and yeah, we just like to play. We love the game, and we love to win, of course. So yeah, I think the team chemistry will grow still because we have so many more matches to go through. But in general, I think we're pretty decent on chemistry.
And Stealthy, you look a bit eager on stream to jump in and ask something. So, how are you feeling off that match? And do you have any questions for our guest Zim here?
Well, some might say this is of course to be expected, and people of course already said that you were definitely a team to look out for. People might rate you lower than other teams would, or that other people would expect. Do you also think that right now EURC also came in with the expectation that you were a team to be underestimated because of the results in the Uniliga, or do you think it is just because you were underestimated that you were able to surprise them that much?
I do think that we are a bit underestimated as we came from the second division from Germany. But I don't think that York underestimated us, especially. I think we also... I'm not quite sure whether we played them in the qualifiers. I think we should have played them, but then the matches changed a bit. So I think they already looked at us over there. I think in the first qualifiers, they got through too. I'm not sure anymore. But they definitely knew what was coming, and we knew what was coming. We have seen, especially Lady Penelope and Tinny in ranked already. But yeah, these guys are definitely very good, and they probably were expecting to come up against tough opponents, even though we're not as known as other teams like Brilliant Phoenix, for example. But for those of you who don't know, we have actually already played in the first division of the Uni League in Germany. And then, well, div down and, well, upgraded the roster with Fafaren now. And now we're back in the first division.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Zim, to have you on. Good luck for the rest of the season, of course. And congrats on that win tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the interview.
Right. Stealthy, Wet Tiger. We have an absolutely incredible game next up to follow up what was an extremely entertaining sweep as things go. GEA Fair Play Mojitos facing off against Birmingham Badgers in our next matchup. So let's take a look at both these teams. The first seeds from the Netherlands, GEA Fair Play Mojitos.
Second.
Was it second?
Second,
What?
Mojitos lost to Martini.
I think I'm annoyed because I checked the notes that we have collected from the leagues, and it said they were first in both playoffs and the league play.
No, that
So-
should have been Martinis. Or else I'm on crack, but okay. But hey, should be Martinis. Should be.
No,
I was
it's
there
like
for that match. I was there for that match. I should know.
And then Birmingham Badgers had to come through the qualifiers, beating, in fact, a few now European EURC teams in the form of Durham Defenders and Leiden. I believe I've seen Leiden on the stream. I feel like I've just sort of pointed them out, but no, the Birmingham Badgers coming through the qualifiers, and their first game this week was against Twente, where they lost 1-0 in that matchup. And GEA Fair Play started off their campaign against the White Mages from Poland with a 3-0 win on that side of things. So going to this, we have another 0-1 versus 1-0 matchup. And, well, the last time we had that on stream, just now, it shocked us a bit.
I mean, Wet Tiger, do you want to comment on this first, or should I start? Because I might be very biased in this this matchup, of course.
Yeah, for me, like a fun note is they're both like their A team, or they're at least listed as their A team, and they both lost to their co-teams. Like they both lost to their B team. So it's like on paper they probably should be the better team, but it seems like they both have some team issues, or like some, I don't know, I would say some team issues, like some playstyle issues. They can't really get their power onto the playing field. But for me right now, I think the Mojitos are at least my favorite, and I think they will take this game 3-1.
Ooh, going in early on the predictions. I mean, Stealthy, you said you were going to be a little bit favoritist towards one of these teams. But then again, on this desk, we have someone else who's a little bit favoritist towards the UK team. So I think we're balancing things out
Don't
pretty
worry,
nicely.
don't worry, Dragon. Badgers don't have a chance. If they lose against Twente, they have no chance against Mojitos. That's just how it is. Like, hands down, Mojitos outskilled Twente by a large margin. And if Badgers lose to Twente, sorry, I have to immediately give it to Mojitos.
You feeling another sweep?
I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm feeling a sweep, because Twente did need all 5 games, but it might as well be a sweep, yes.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Birmingham Badgers are definitely they're a surprising side. When they're playing well, they play some very good and very attractive Rocket League. When they're not feeling so hot, they'll lose to their B team, which is still actually rather strong. They're sort of almost level. No offense to Birmingham, but there's a very small gap between the two teams. It's kind of like Mojitos and Martinis, except I think Mojitos and Martinis are a little bit higher level in terms of skill. So I feel like I have to give this to Mojitos in a sweep, but it's not us who will be taking a look and watching this match. Neolaic, we finally found another partner for you, so no need to magic me away. Tylacto and Neolaic, this one is on you.
And welcome back to the casting desk. Thank you very much, RW Dragon, and I, the great Nualakio, and my third magic trick of the night, have turned the gorgeous RW Dragon into the equally lovely Tylacto, and welcome to the cast, Tylacto.
I am literally the rabbit come out of the hat, and I feel like I might want to hide back in the hat, to be honest, if this series goes as the desk is sort of predicting it there. Understandable, though, that they are obviously favouring the Mojitos, especially because on paper, of course, they are Groningen's A team, and when we look back to 2 days ago, Badgers did have quite the painful Game 5 overtime loss against Twente, but I feel like, you know, recently, and by recently I mean yesterday, domestically, they went unbeaten in NSE, right? They won all 3 of their games. Of course, that is in lower nats, but it does get them promoted back to upper nats, which is where I think it's fair to say they probably belong. I personally would say that, of course. So maybe they're going to hit more of a stride of form, but it does feel like after losing Game 5 to Twente, of course, no disrespect to Twente, and maybe they were playing up on the day. I think it still would be a surprise for them to really, really push Mojitos all the way. But if they get the win, then I'd love to see it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. And I mean, the thing is, right, it's Rocket League. The law of transitive properties doesn't always apply. Just because Team A beats Team B and Team B beats Team C, Team A doesn't always beat Team C. And Badgers playing as that Team C right now are sure hoping that they can beat Team A in the form of the Mojitos, and it's going to be a close one for sure. Elko is in a difficult spot already. Mojitos, I mean, they gave Badgers a chance there right at the beginning. Yeah. Badgers don't capitalize right away, but I mean, a few more of those and Badgers will definitely be taking the lead.
I mean, let's not forget, though, with that series against Twente, Badgers came out and won Game 1 4-0 in dominant fashion. And whether or not that was Twente being asleep, or whether that's just a sort of gear that Badgers do have and that they sometimes are not able to find, then we don't know. But I feel like they're definitely going to need a whole lot more of that if they're going to go all the way in this series. Of course, starting off on the beautiful Utopia Coliseum. And you've seen, you know, the in-between game screens. It's just beautiful, isn't it?
It's kind of incredible. I mean, I'm just in shock. I didn't realize you could even do things like that with Rocket League. But hey, our production team pulled it off because they're all absolute smurfs, and it's fine. Look, we're going to hope that players in this game are smurfing as well, because I just want to see good Rocket League. I have no horse in this race. Whatever about UK teams, they can do what they want. As long as we get good Rocket League, all right? Look, they can do what they want at that point.
Oh, and a minute, Flux looking to be on the end of that infield, though, from Elka. I feel like maybe, you know, the Mojitos had a chance they could potentially have converted on, but neither team going to get that opening goal in the first minute. I just want to talk to you about the Twitch chat prediction. There's nearly another connection there in the midfield from Elko and Inputters. You know how many channel points were in favor of Badgers against Mojitos? Have you looked, Nuala?
I haven't looked at all.
95% of the vote is in favor of Badgers. They have 27k on them. They're the high rollers right now. I feel like if only I was on a mod, I would just put like 1 penny on Mojitos, and the odds would just be an absolute stonks investment. But as I say that, Badgers are pushing up in the midfield.
Choco Muffin has it!
Yeah, they've done it here and got the opening goal. How did that happen?
I mean, this just looks to me like it's Mojitos rotating out a little bit too aggressively. Input goes for boost, and I think the boost was gone over in the corner, stolen away by the Badgers. And that means there's no players left for Mojitos to make that save. Badgers lead 1-0.
I mean, what a surprise. But I mean, they had a very strong game 1 in their previous series 2 days ago, so I guess it's not too much of a horror, or a shock, I should say, as Elko. Wow, it's dangerous. But again, oh my goodness, calculated defending from the Badgers. Look at how confidently they clear that ball away. They were just trying to bait in the Mojitos into thinking that they might have scored, right?
That's it. You say confidence, I say scramble. Look, two different people think two different things. Maybe the English versus the Irish perspective on that one. As Badgers will look now to finally make a counter-attack down at the other end of the pitch. They have been trapped in their own half for a little while now, but they do lead 1-0. That's dropping dangerously. There's no one there. Elko wasn't quite in position, wasn't expecting it to drop straight down. Was looking for the bump, I think. That's another chance gone a begging for this Mojito squad.
Indeed, I just do worry that the Badgers may be realizing that this game is so important for them, given the fact that they did get that Game 5 lost to 20. Of course, it's great that they have the 2 games for their differential in terms of the group as input, with another shot going a little bit wayward there. You do think if they do lose this series, they're in such a hard spot where, hang on a minute, Choco, again, looking dangerous, but going to be Maddie there at the midfield to keep up the pressure. It's just such a rough spot for them to be in the group where they have to certainly pretty much just not win out, but win against one of the other sort of really big teams. Whereas if they do win this series, it puts such a massive spanner in the works and just blows things wide open again.
Yeah, it'll leave this group definitely open for the taking. A reminder, 5 teams will qualify from each of these groups, so there's plenty of spots available, but you want to be at that top. 4 and 5 will be dropping straight down to that lower bracket. Badgers won't want to be there, and winning this series will put them a long way away. A 1-1 opening week is very different from 0-2. These are good bumps and good demos coming through from Badgers. They haven't led to anything just yet, but Choco is under this again. Flux is up in defense. Elko looking for a clear. Will be dribbling this from the middle of the pitch. Gets the 50 past Crown, but runs out of boost doing so. And now a bit of a team bump will mean that the defense for Mojitos is a little bit not set. Dutch Manny with a good flip off the wall. Choco is there once again. The shot isn't good, but it's good enough to keep this pressure on the Mojitos defense at the moment.
Yeah, I think Badger's really doing a good job. I know when Maddie found himself at the end there, he immediately got this side swipe bump and then followed up by an immediate demo. So hang on a minute. I'm saying the Badger's not scared of making things physical, but input says that that's right down his street as well. But heading to the final minute, the Badgers do still have this lead, and I think it could be crucial for their momentum in this series if they can sort of stun lock the Mojitos at least for a game and see how far this could really get them.
Yep, 1 goal win is a win nonetheless, and Badgers heading into the final minute are heading in that direction. Input will put it down into the corner. Dutch Matty is attacking this. Flux will flip it into the middle. Input has boost, can attack Choco Muffin, but it's a bit slow on doing so, and it'll be a ball off the back of Mojito's wall again. Elko misses this, and there's a lot of misses coming through in defense from Mojitos. It's allowing Badgers to keep up this pressure. Flux had to make contact with that, and did, only as far as Matty. Off back wall, Choco up again for it. Will find the shot, will find the goal. It's a 2-0 lead for Badgers in game 1.
Choco with the brace, and credit to him right at the top of the scoreboard there. But you have to say, Nuelek, that in terms of the midfield game, the Badgers really have just had the edge here, and it's meant that they've had the opportunities and been able to punish where it matters, and it's Choco's speed that's done that twice so far in this game 1.
It is. It's Choco speed, and the word I'm going to throw your way, Tylacto, as well, is consistency. I'm not seeing a huge amount of consistency in these touches and defense for Mojitos, and they need to clean that up because it's what's allowed Choco to use the speed to get there. This is a chance now to put one back in. Choco, though, man in the way, is back again. There's the consistency. That was an easy touch clear, but it is fine for the time being. Elko's looking for the shot, looks for the infield pass instead, but there's no players there. A little bit of miscommunication maybe on that one. A chance now to put it high, will go towards goal. Good defense from the Badgers. Rotations are clean. It'll look like with 6 seconds left on the clock, Badgers are trying to keep this clean sheet in game number 1. And hey, I don't know if you watched the last series, Tylacto. I don't know if people at home were watching the last series, but 2-0 win to the underdogs in game 1. I mean, it's getting heating up.
I mean, to be fair, you don't want to, you want to keep the execution clean, and I feel like Badger's best chance at winning this series could be just to win it 3-0, right? It gives the Mojitos the least amount of time to respond, and aside from Groningen, whilst we're sort of expecting them to be on top, coming in as potential favourites, the Badgers still look great at times during their series. We've just sort of always known them as a sort of mid-table NSE side where you've always looked at their roster, even from back in Winter Split last year, and just thought they could just be doing a little bit better. And they're sort of waves in form. They do look great at their highs. It's just that if only they could sort of flatten that out a bit and just keep it, at least above average, then they could get some really great achievements. And I feel like EURC, with them having to come out of lower nationals and they're sort of unable to reach championship bracket domestically, you do think that all of their focus has gone towards this, and that painful Game 5 loss to 20 might have just lit a fire in them.
I mean, you'd kind of hope so, but I mean, let's take a second as well. Like, the Badgers, they're on the up at the moment, it feels like, potentially, especially with this game 1. But over on the other side, the Mojitos, going scoreless is a little bit surprising to me. I want to focus especially on Elko on that side, because despite the fact this Mojito squad dropped to the quote-unquote Groningen B team of Martinis in the league play, Elko was the highest scorer in the league with 1.92 average goals per game. That's 0.7 higher than anyone else in the league. I mean, the fact that they're scoreless in game 1, I think, while they were maybe making misplays defensively, this was a very quiet offense from Mojitos as well, and that's surprising.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's just internal issues, you know. Elko's got LFT in his name, clearly just looking for a new university. Change it to LFU. Maybe that'll be the new trend that we see with EURC becoming the biggest European University Rocket League tournament, as you do see Mojitos looking to try and wrestle for that midfield control. But the Badgers, once again, fighting back. And oh my goodness, what a way to do it. Finding the end of Crown, and they have the early lead again.
It's the wrong player with C at the start of their name. It's not Choco, but it's Crown this time. It's just too fast. It's the inconsistency on defense. Flux not trusting that there was another Badgers player there, was a little bit slow to it. Crown is just quick. And that means that we're back to a 1-0 lead for Badgers early on in Game 2. They've won the kickoff as well. Dutch Maddie won't get to that first, but that was almost potentially 2-0 very, very quickly.
It does feel like the stun lock is continuing for now, as they just don't want to let the Groningen inside get out of their half at any sort of cheap price, and they're doing a great job of keeping up that offensive barrier, as Input's going to have to work hard and immediately gets shut down by Crown, as Birmingham are hungry for this ball and forcing a double commit, although a good bit of work from Elko there should see them nicely onto the offense. And could this be their chance? No, Flux isn't going to be able to read it.
Oh, there's one of those ones you're in all chat after it, and your voice chat saying, wait, input, never mind. But I mean, look, you're talking about, you're saying, I didn't expect them to miss. I thought they were going to hit it. And I mean, Flux just so unlucky on that one, didn't make the contact. That was the chance for Mojitos to open up their scoring, but they are still here at 0 goals. Elko now looking to dribble. We were looking for him to start scoring a couple of goals, and the 50 is good. And Elko will find that first goal. The player we were looking for finds it for Mojitos early on.
He's gone from complete one side to the other with no real challenge. I mean, Maddie the only one to put one in, but he just got completely 50'd. And you got to think, now that they've got that goal on the board, the Mojitos, does that get them rolling? Does that open the floodgates? Or are we going to have a really close fought matchup?
Yeah, this is it. Stun lock is the word you've been using. I like it, and we're going to see if that stun has been broken here. Have they gotten rid of the CC? Right now, I mean, look, we're still waiting to find out, but it's Badgers back on the offensive. They'll be looking to try and get this one. A good bump as well. Opens up the way for Crown to get a good shot on target. Flux is in the way. You could see Choco is hunting for that second bump as well. And that was just an easy goal for Badgers, who are still here on the offense. Choco's the quickest one up. It'll bounce off in the middle. Huge demo by Flux in the middle of the pitch. Denies Crown, the player rotating in the shot on target.
So much physical play coming out from the Mojitos, trying to give the Badgers a little bit taste of their own medicine, and it was very, very effective there. But no, Choco is going to be back to make that save, as the Badgers do still look dangerous when they go forward. But you have to say Mojitos are growing from strength to strength right now, as Elko looking for the double top. Oh, just coming off the top of the crossbar, and it's looking a little bit nervous right now.
All of a sudden, it's Badgers struggling to find their way out of their own half. Choco will carry this one towards the middle, but Elko's just up for it, touches it over. Input is there. Crown gets the first touch, but Input is just reading that the entire way. That's a good chance for Dutch Maddie to put this ball over into the corner, buy a bit of time, force Mojitos to think about their next play. We've seen Elko go coast to coast once already. This time around, Choco just challenges early, and that's what's been standing well to Badgers, is early challenges in the Dutch half, keeping Mojitos on the back foot and not letting them get this ball clear.
No, I agree completely, as a lot of their goals have come from when, instead of just going for them challenges, hang on a minute, Flux with the fake, will he look for the infield? I think he will, but Maddie somehow holds the line, and with help from Choco gets it out to the side. The Badgers, they hold on. They say that is a protected wildlife area in front of their net.
I mean, this is well, just have to give you credit for that one. But like, look, it's the first time around the 50 went in favor of UOB, or went in favor of Mojitos. That's what got them their first goal. This time, Badgers managed to win the 50. And good 50s in defense are so important in this Rocket League. Good bump. These bumps are huge. Dutch Maddie gets the flick past one. It's not on target, but the follow is going to be here. It's off the post again. Maddie is trying to get in. Doesn't have the boost again. The backflip puts it on target, but with not enough power to beat Flux or any of the other Mojitos players were there. We're still somehow in front of the Mojitos goal, though. We're still there as another touch comes down, and up Maddie misses the target completely. Call it a pass, as Crown is in the corner, but doesn't have enough boost to do anything with it. This should finally be Mojitos getting it clear. The bump puts Input harder into that ball, and with no boost is jumping off the wall. We'll give it to Elko in the corner, has teammates in the middle, see if you can find him off the ceiling, gets another touch. It's going to come off the wall, but not as centered as I think anyone on the Mojitos side would have wanted, especially Elko on that one.
And Input now looking to grow the offense for Mojitos, but again, back into the corner from Birmingham. As Birmingham, you have to say, had a couple really good chances there, just either lacking in the boost or the composure department either time. And you have to think, will that come back to bite them as we head into the crucial final minute of this game too?
We are in this final minute now, and it's 1-1. Last time we were here was the 2-0 lead for Birmingham. They were looking strong heading into the final seconds. This time they've given a chance, and it's open for Groningen. Input with the wave dash under it, gets the flip, it's saved. Crown just comes back, reads it well. It's read a second time by Choco, and this is the counter-attack now. Are the players back somehow? My laptop's shutting down again. This is disaster.
It's all good. I can take over. You just missed Crown nearly take the goal, but it got a great save on the Dutch defense there as Elko with another fantastic wind race to the ball there as Choco, dangerous from the backboard, but with a bit of help from Crown will keep it sort of obstructed in the Birmingham half there as another 50-50, this time one out by Maddie as Input will find Elko in the corner. Lovely play from Groningen there as Choco is required, though a great hit from him. Elko touching that one gently into the side as Choco will put that off the corner ball. It's high, floating. Elko has to make that clear. It's across to the side. Maddie will win the race to it, though. Off the wall, towards the centre. Crown, though, couldn't beat the two players. It's Input. Oh, if he caught that one, would have maybe been able to take that one all the way into the net. But no, we have overtime in game 2, and if Birmingham get the next goal, they could be forcing the favourites in the series to reverse sweep, although I do have to say the chat did predict 95% Badgers, which is certainly more confident than I was, but I'm going to have to respect it as Elko winning that race to the ball, but I'm sure Groningen won't be able to turn that one on target just yet, as a dangerous touch from Crown means that Elko's invited in once again, as that was Flux actually. Crown 50ing Elko himself. Now looking for the double, he will find it, although it does paid in Flux, so Maddie clearing it in the corner. Input infield towards Flux, but Crown, he will cut that one out as Birmingham being forced to do a fair bit of defending here. Groningen looking like they're building in confidence as Elko looking for that 50, doesn't quite find it. Choco is allowed out of defense, though. Input in the right place in the midfield. Both the Birmingham defenders flat-footed. No, Maddie will now push out to that ball, though. Oh, he does get it past Input. Elko's up and it's high in the midfield. Who will be first to the second ball? It will be Crown as Maddie looking for the infield. Will with the touch. Flux, though, his shot not on target. It springs off the corner curb. Input's there. Looks for the infield. Looks for the touch. No, Choco and Maddie both go to shut him down, as it could be dangerous now. Flux with the infield towards Elko. The shot, but Crown just flicking it to the side as Elko looking for the infield. No, he won't quite find the touches. Another infield pass from Input, but it's just an input for the Birmingham defense to casually take there, as Maddie looking for the fake will force a nice 50-50, and finally Birmingham have some breathing room here in game 2 overtime. But can they actually put up some offense? No, Elko with a huge dunk all the way down to the end of the field. Choco working it in the corner here, but I don't know how much boost he has. He's got pretty much none. Had to get a flick, but didn't quite. Flux with that 50 means that Groningen still on offense as a 50 into the corner. Can Crown reach it? Yes, he can. Off that wall, looking for a second touch. No, Input, he's there as Choco high across the midfield, but Flux will be there. Can he get the double touch? Won't quite find it. Maddie with no respect will cut it out. Dangerous for Badgers. Choco with the shot. The save comes through from Input there. And is this the sort of offense that the UK side needs to sort of restart their confidence here? As I do believe, Nualek, we're still 2 minutes into overtime. Have you returned from the dead? Nope, he's still dead. Never mind. Choco off the wall, looking for the infield. Input looking for the shot towards the net. Crown will save it, though. Can he get the second touch? Flux is going to dunk it as, oh, he won't be looking for that second touch. Maddie won't be able to get contact either, though, because nerves definitely on show, as this overtime is so huge for the series, and a wise man would probably just predict the winner of this overtime has the momentum to go all the way. But of course, it would be too soon to call, as Maddie with that ball in the corner. Here it is. Down it comes as Elko is going to go ball side and whisk that one across the net. It's going to work out nicely for him. Choco with an awkward 50, though. Birmingham, every time I see them on the ball, just feels like they haven't got enough boost to do what they want, as Elko now with a flick towards the backboard here. Could it be a touch from Input? It is. Flux side flips, though. Maddie, can he pass it? Oh my goodness, he just sneezes on the ball. It goes nowhere as Crown high towards the backboard, looking for a double commit from the side of Groningen, but a lovely double touch from Input means that they've got plenty of time, but the ball, it's out. It's in the midfield. Maddie, he's up. Can he get it underneath? No. Flux with that block as Elko is going to control it here. No, Choco's going to get the dunk across from Flux. Groningen certainly being forced on the back foot here for a while. Crown is sticking it in reverse, but will make the touch, as scary as that looks. So Choco following it up, helping him out. Crown will again make the block as Maddie is removed from the field of play. Elko with time to control it, with time to dribble it, but the touch, not quite the one he wanted. So he's going to have to be forced back here, as Choco will break Birmingham out, though, with two players looking very anxious in the defense there, like, please don't hurt us, as Elko looking to air dribble will get dunked out by Maddie, but the ball still in the Birmingham penalty area. Who will be first to the second ball? It will be Groningen, but intercepted by Crown into that corner there, grabbing that boost, and we nearly have 4 minutes of overtime right now. Nualek, has the second resuscitation worked?
It has. The second coming of the Nualek has come back, and I mean, I'm appreciating the 4 minute overtime. It might end as soon as I get here. Rattles wide of the right post, and I appreciate these teams keeping it interesting while I was gone. Anti-Lacto, of course, for carrying the stream while I was gone as well. Good attempt at an infield pass will nearly find Elko. He's trying to dribble around the entire defense but will not manage to pull it off. Badgers still in this one. I'm sure they might be having flashbacks to the last time they were in a 4-minute overtime against one of these teams. 20 took them down in that one. Badgers won't want it to happen again. We're only in game 2 this time around, Thylacto, and the stakes aren't quite as high.
The bomb from Maddie there, huge to keep them off the defense as he now will get the redirect, but both teams so desperate, they always seem to have two back. The whiff, and oh my goodness, immediately demolished there was Maddie as Brown's going to have to work it through the corner. Will we get the 5 minutes? I'm not sure. Choco is required on defense, though. Flux, he's back to flick that one aside. Maddie looking for the pass across to Choco, but just doesn't get around the ball, and this is what it's been, in case you've missed it. So many painful plays just failing to materialize, but could it be the one? No.
No, of course not.
It looks like we're going.
We're here for another 5 minutes, all right? This is it. With these teams, nobody's going to score, but the shots are there, the chances are there, the defense is just also there, and it is stellar right now from both teams. As Crown will push this one forward one more time for Badgers. Is this going to be a play? Input is no boost, so the clear won't be particularly strong. And the second player committed means there's a bit of space here for Badgers to work with. Maddie's up for it, has the shot down towards goal. Flux misses. It's 100% there, but it is not. Somehow it is not. Somehow it is scrambled off the line by Groningen, and they stay alive for a little while longer in this overtime. Elko is backwards, but is trying to get this ball clear. Choco with 50 isn't quite good enough. Elko just about wins out on that one. Ball is over Input's head. Maddie is still following, won't have the follow-up touch. Elko towards the middle of the pitch, will be 50. The ball bounces down in the middle of the pitch. Flux needed to get that touch, did so. We're now in Birmingham half. We're now with a chance for Groningen to actually do it. It's off the back wall. Where are all of the players in this game? Where are the shots? Where's the goal, Thylacto?
I think everyone just so nervous to commit as third man, as you don't want to be that team who conceded the terrible end-to-end open net in that terribly long, decisive overtime that could decide your fate in EURC. As of course the last real chance we saw the inside of the Mojitos post, denying Birmingham, as likewise the same post called into action to deny Choco there. And I gotta be honest, I'm always nervous when Mojitos go forward, but right now the Badgers seem to be edging closer and closer.
They can't get much closer than that last shot, but you're right, it's just the third man not theirs. They're scared to get caught out. And that's denied these teams a couple of good chances, as there's just been known there. Crown is launching at the other end of the pitch. Flux only puts it directly up, but a good second touch as well. Could open up space behind Badgers. Good demo. Maddie needs to turn as well now, does so. This ball will bounce dangerously. Choco and Dutch, Maddie both can turn on it, but they haven't in time. A bit of a team bump denies them the chance. Flux has no boost, but a good shot down into the middle of the pitch. Has to be cleared by Maddie, has to be touched now by Elko. Crown with another demo. Input is up for this, and we're getting loose in the middle of the pitch, as now these teams, it's slowed down a little bit, but maybe that's just what it needs for one team to get lulled into a false sense of security here.
Maybe a couple of scary double commits have come out from the Birmingham side, though, and it does make my heart stop every time. Speaking of a quad commit, that one's going to be a potential chance, but the shot off the crossbar. Oh my goodness gracious me, will the ball ever go in?
Nope, I don't think so. I think we're here. This is purgatory, and we are stuck here for the rest of our lives. This Maddie is now the one to carry forward.
I don't have life insurance.
He's going to put it over into the corner. He's going to follow his own path and misses completely. This is 3-on-2 in the defense right now. That's beaten one. That's beaten two. It's off the back wall. Is Elko there? Not quite rotating in fast enough. Will get it off the back wall again. Flux is up high. Has two members in the way. Birmingham will deny it for a little while longer. They'll keep us away from the sweet release of getting just to game 3 now. This is only game 2. We're here for so much longer this evening. Maddie off the back wall. Gets it clear for the time being. Bit of a pass back into the middle. Elko has support. Flux is there. The 50 is there. It's off the post.
Surely.
It's in. It's in. We get to have more games this evening in an 8-minute overtime. Once again, Birmingham have dropped to a Dutch team.
Unbelievable. Birmingham's overtime record continues to be their downfall. Nearly 8 minutes, as you say. And whilst they looked great during parts of that, the cracks, when they appeared, they just didn't want to close up. And eventually it just felt like a matter of time. And the Mojitos will be the ones to pull the series, even with 18 shots in that game. Although kind of cheating when you get so long to take so many shots. The question is, how did Birmingham respond to that heart-wrenching loss?
Oh, well, I mean, I can tell you one thing, and it's that Choco has left to go and reset his internet, and I don't blame him. I mean, it feels like we have just played a full 5 games right there, and we've played enough Rocket League in these 2 games for, honestly, a full series already. The previous series, I think, would have been over with this much game time.
Pretty much,
because it is just back and forth. But this is kind of what we were talking about, what you specifically called out in game 1, was the UOB's Badgers' best chance of winning was potentially to just stunlock the Groningen side for 3 games, just take them out before they started to heat up. And with an 8-minute overtime, if the Mojitos are going to warm up, it's already happened.
Yeah, it's just like so painful to watch, really, this Birmingham side when this happens, as it feels like the more often they go to game 5, they can prevail in the high pressure situations, but more often than not, it's just a painful, slow crumble, as it feels like Choco and Crown, the sort of CC stun lock offense is so fantastic, but it just seems like a double-edged sword, and every time I watch them in a high-pressure situation, when you see Maddie, their typical third man in many scenarios, not back, it just feels like it's a disaster waiting to happen, and it feels genuinely like the first or second time that happened was in that overtime. Crown found himself in the middle of the net in no man's land, and Mojitos were able to punish, but the question is, can they put that behind them and bounce back now?
I mean, they'll have to. It's a whole new game of Rocket League now. Score resets to 0-0, and whatever happened, even if it was an 8-minute overtime, matters not at all. Flux is going to go for an early one, though. That's just going to roll into the Badgers' goal. And you're saying it. Where's the third man?
No.
Badgers are potentially starting to slip up a little.
This time it was Maddie back, but a terrible decision looking for the pre-jump there. Could have just stayed back and made an easy save, but that's the thing, when you lose such a painful overtime like that, you do have to play Where's Wally with your head, because if not, it will go and you will not find it again. And the question is, can the Badgers get their heads back on? Because I do fear that the floodgates may have opened here.
We'll have to hope for the Badgers' sake that's not so. It's a double commit in defense by Mojitos. That could have left space, but again, the rotation's not quite there. That's not going to just roll in, is it? No, Crown just about gets back in time, has launched himself off the post. Another Badgers member is down with as well. Elko has so much space on this ball, will flick it, but Crown with an early challenge manages to deny on that one. That's a good piece of defense, so at least there's a little bit of the Badgers' defensive sense still there. They're under pressure still, though. Elko with a follow-up shot. Crown is the player in the way of Elko once again, but this is exactly how it ended the last game. Constant pressure, and it finally ends in a goal. It's Flux again to do it, and Badgers are just letting this ball bounce off their backboard too many times.
Yeah, the clears going central, and the boost just being denied so well by Mojitos, who are right now just showing themselves with 2 goals in the first minute there. Just that they are that slight bit of an upper class, and it feels like the same old stories for the Badgers right now. Could be dangerous off kickoff, but no, they're going to hold on for now, and it's just like, can they really elevate themselves to be gaining the respect of, top level teams? And this would be the perfect time to do it. After losing such a painful, typical overtime where you're so expected to crumble as the rest of the series goes on, can you prove everyone, and probably at this point, themselves wrong, and actually come back from this point? Maybe not in this game, but in this series as a whole, to keep their legitimate, group stage hopes properly and well and truly alive. But I don't know, because right now, I'm not seeing it, and it's really quite painful right now to watch.
It's a little bit rough right now for the Badgers. Another goal is just going to roll in, and this time around, I don't think you can even call it particularly impressive shooting, particularly impressive pressure out the side of Groningen. That's a bit of an unforced error if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, indeed, as well. All 3 players were backing around for the Badgers, but again, there's confidence in the defense is just not there, as maybe a quick response goal could have got them some momentum, but alas, it is not to be, and Groningen look very much confident to shut down the Birmingham plays early. They really just haven't had a look in here in these first 2 minutes.
Yeah, they have not even really gotten out of this half of the pitch. They've been stuck down here trying to break free of Groningen's just stifling pressure. They finally will turn a shot towards target. Flux is in the way of that, though. Input is backwards, and this is a little bit scrambly, a little bit awkward from the clears from Groningen, but Badger's not going to capitalise it from the time being. Chaco is still down at the other end of the pitch. It's a 1-2 over to Maddie. Maddie can't do much with the ball that's handed back to him, though, and so we're here on a counter-attack. It's 2v2 in the middle. There's Groningen players just sitting there waiting. Just waiting at this point, it feels like, for Badgers to make a mistake. It feels like now the Groningen are comfortable. The Mojitos are just starting to look for Badgers to crumble rather than really looking to make big plays of their own.
Yeah, it's just, if you're Badgers right now, you just got to put this 3-0 scoreline behind you. And for the sake of your hopes in this series, treat the second half of the game as just a fresh one entirely, as they do technically get the lead in the second half of the game. And with still time to work with, that's exactly what they need to get themselves back on the board.
Incredible, just 6 seconds into the second half. I mean, if we actually took a break in Rocket League, that'd be even more impressive. The coach giving them the talk at halftime on that one. But,
True.
I mean, you're right. They do just need to reset a little bit. This won't be the way to reset if they just get immediately scored on. They managed to keep their goal clean for the time being. There is still time for them to come back in this. 2 goals, not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of the imagination. Although, I don't know, you feel like you'd want to score more than 2 goals right here. I'm not sure Badgers have another overtime in them.
No, that's very true, actually, now that you mentioned that. Although surely with on the 3 goals on the bounce, you'd have to give them at least some favour going into that. But think we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, as they certainly need to find them 2 to start with. But of course, under 2 minutes on the clock, and every time Groningen go forward, they are certainly asking the questions, and you feel like they don't really have to commit that heavily because they've already got this lead to work with.
They did, and they can turtle up quite effectively if they want to. Just sit back, let Badgers come at them, or just keep the pressure up, because we've seen how good they are at keeping Badgers in their own half, and we've seen how good Elko can be at just taking this ball all the way down the pitch, gets the flip reset, but is read well by Crown, which means a ball on the side wall. It'll be good, taken by input. This is, you know, right now just kind of loose. There isn't a sense of... I mean, there's a big bump. This is chance off back wall. Dutch Matty is up for it. Matty down. It's there again. One more time. It's there for Crown. And that was Matty looking for the shot, but turned it into a pass.
Absolutely beautiful tic-tac-toe from Birmingham there. Confident free jump. Crown fully believing, backs him up. Fantastic play from the Badgers, and with time on the clock, has the steam train just arrived, and do they have another in them?
All right, listen, Tylacto, I said that Birmingham maybe didn't have another overtime in them. I'm going to be honest, I don't have another overtime in me. Please, somebody just put this game out.
You are trying to... Oh no, it's dangerous! It's actually insane! Crown has actually done it! How? How has this happened?
What has gone on here? It was all Groningen for the first half of this game. Almost exactly. We hit 2 minutes 30, and Badgers have just turned it on. In the last minute and a half, they are 3-0.
Crown with 2 goals from his 2 shots and 5 saves already on the board. A fantastic individual performance, but I mean, the entire team has just stepped it up, and maybe they did have a secret half-time 2.5 minutes into the game, as right now the stun lock is back, and how do Mojitos respond? Because turtling up is not an option now unless they're that confident about the overtime potentially.
Good pass, good shot, input, put forward, and I'll tell you how they respond. It's just by scoring. And Elko, I mean, this is a position I think everyone was expecting Elko to shoot from. Instead, turns around, gives it to input, and from that point, input just drives directly into the Birmingham defense.
So painful for Crown as well. After so many great stops this game, found himself jumping too high on this block. As a fantastic game 3 we have.
Matty.
And then maybe a flip reset, a double flip reset.
It's
but
still
Matty
there.
clearly, oh my goodness,
It's
a
still
double
there.
commit from Crown, from Choco. If they hadn't double commit, you have to think maybe they would have had that open net. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, can Badgers generate another chance in time?
Oh, maybe not, but there might be another chance in it for Mojitos. Elko is just in the air, wins the 50 on that. It needs to come off the back wall, and it does. 20 seconds left on the clock. Badgers with 1 goal a deficit need to find their chance, and they need to find it soon. But you will not find the chance in front of your own net. And Elko is determined to keep the ball here. He's determined to find the double touch, and does. That is the game surely out of Badgers' reach.
Confidently and conviction there from Elko. Calm with the double touch. Crown unable to block that one, as Mojitos just clearly giving the Badgers false hope there, putting this game 3 away in style there.
Oh, and that'll be it. Game 3. I mean, I like to talk about Game 3 a lot. It's the swing game in a lot of best of 5s. You know, either it is match point and one team is already there, or it's 1-1 and you're looking at putting yourself on match point for the back half of the series. And right now, it's not only the Mojitos coming into this back half of the series with the lead, with that match point, they're coming in with momentum as well.
Indeed it is, and the Badgers are just the permanent story right now in EURC, thinking about what could have been as well. What if they just didn't concede 3 goals in the opening 90 seconds? How much easier could that game have been, right? But the fact is, when the 2 teams are at their best, the Mojitos have just been better, and more importantly, more clinical, as the Badgers certainly shooting themselves in the foot, and to be honest, the other foot as well in that game as well. They've put up a great fight, as we were worried that they wouldn't after they went 3 down. Still massive props to them, but it's just like, if you're not going to put it away when it matters, it's just like, what's the point? You know, there's going to be a game loss, and now they're on series point down, and they could be 0-2 at the start of the groups, right?
Yeah, that's it. I think shot their foot off at the end of the last overtime, winged themselves in the first 90 seconds of this, and then finished the job in those last 60 seconds as well. Just let GEA Mojitos get that last 2 goals that they needed, put it completely out of reach. And all it is now, Tylacto, 1 game for Mojitos, and they will have started this group stage 2-0. They'll be in a very comfortable spot to get one of those top positions in the group, and I think they'll start looking like one of the contenders at the top of this group D as well.
Indeed, I think you're right with that, as Mojitos, I think, would have looked at their schedule for this week, and they'll certainly be aiming for that 2-0. So maybe a little bit of pressure gets onto them going into this game 4, as it will be a very tidy performance for the week, should they see it out. And Elko decides that he's going to go for a little bit of a wardrobe change to see this one out.
Yeah, I mean, look, why not? You might as well go for it. You might as well try for a few more of those flicks as they've nearly been coming off. This is out on the back wall with good touchdown into the middle. It is going to be put clear by Crown. The fall wasn't quite there for Mojitos on that one. But already we're seeing pressure coming out of this Groningen side. Hasn't come to anything just yet, but Flux has been given a lot of space. There was a chance to turn that shot on target. Didn't take it this time. And now it'll be Crown given the chance to run the pitch instead. Hasn't gotten anywhere with it. Once again, we're just watching as these players just give each other a lot of space, give each other a lot of respect in the middle of the pitch, but it's been favouring Mojitos when that happens.
Yeah, it certainly has as well. It's been a long time since Birmingham dominated that midfield in game one, though. Choco with a chance finds the top corner, but with no power, it'd be down to Maddie, but his shot blocked well by Flux. It was a well-placed shot, but the save just a little bit too good as Choco required on defense, and he stands his ground 1v2 well. First minute passes, and both teams with chances, but both teams' defenses coming out on top.
Yeah, the defense is strong for the time being, but it'll need to continue to be strong here as we once again have Mojitos in their favourite position, bouncing the ball off this back wall of Birmingham side. They've managed to get it clear this time. Birmingham will be looking up into this other end of the pitch, will be looking to try and get something going. Nothing doing just yet. It's another good clear. It's another clear directly to a player. It's another clear that's gone off the crossbar. Input had the shot. Elko's in the middle, and Elko just threads the needle on that one, finds his way through all three players of Birmingham.
Clearly the Batmobile paying off as he could completely read Choco's whiff there on defense, and with that power, Maddie could never keep it out the net from that range, I should say as well. First blood does go to Groningen in this crucial game 4. But, you know, of course, we've seen Birmingham bounce back before, and could they do it again here? And certainly better to do it at 1-0 down than 3-0 down, though it's looking like it might already be 2 unless Maddie, he can't keep it out the net, and Groningen connect once again on the counter-attack and double the advantage.
Oh, I feel for Maddie here. You were calling it out earlier that a lot of the time Maddie is that third man for the Birmingham side. And a lot of the time when you're playing that third man position, you're just left and you're the player who's on all of the cameras at the end because the ball is going past you. It's not really your fault. You've just been left in a really awkward position by your team.
Yeah, he just caught himself too far forward, though, unfortunately for him, as it's going to be an error that gets punished, and hard not to when you feel like you're so desperate you want to get back into the game sooner rather than later, though. Once again, you know, the left foot has been shot by themselves again in the side of Birmingham. Maddie, can he hold up here 1v3 on DVAM? I mean, yeah, that's no problem for him whatsoever. Input pretty much passing him that one, as he's going to have to use a ton of boost and end up losing that 50, though. It allows Crown to come into that play, and maybe they're just waiting for the halftime team talk again.
It worked out for them last time. A couple of orange slices at halftime, boys, and we'll see what happens then. Elko into 1v1 is going to try and go under. Crown won't manage to pull it off on that one. Ball back into the middle of the pitch. Birmingham need to do something with it. It's a good pass out. Maddie is in the middle. It's a little bit too far in front of him potentially, and that could have been the counter-attack. Elko was up very, very quickly on that, and Birmingham, a good offense breaks down as the touch a little bit too far forward, but Mojitos are not the type of team to let those chances go to waste. That was a good turn towards goal. Birmingham just about getting in the way, but once again, we're in such an awkward position. This is input under it. Choco was in an awkward spot and managed to keep it clear. Elko with the double touch, though, and they won't keep missing those for long.
It's another 3-goal lead for the Mojitos, and well, the Badgers, it was a miraculous comeback last time, and even then it wasn't enough. And the worst part is we're past half time. I just feel like they really need a miracle right now.
I know, getting scored on first directly after the halftime, the magic isn't necessarily there for the Badgers. Crown is up for this, though. We are still after halftime. Maybe Badgers do have it. Not on that shot, but maybe on the follow-up. Nearly it's there by Flux. Good read by two members of the Mojitos. They covered almost everywhere on that goal between them. And it means it's very difficult for Badgers to get those shots through, and Mojitos' defense is looking so good. When the demos are that strong, the offense is looking clean too. Input has a chance to knock it across face goal. Choco's the only one there, has to get a touch, and does. Denies the goal for a while longer. Flux, though, with a great shot, and just sweet spot on that one. Bounces it under two members, easy as you like.
So painful. Crown and Choco both pre-jumping what turned out to be a P-roller of a shot from Flux, though a smart play from him. Placement over power, and it has to be at this point. The Mojitos gonna walk out the door with the 3-1 in the series unless Badgers can just pull off something unheard of even for them, because they've shot their left foot off, they've shot their right foot off. They might as well just not have any limbs left at this point as well. Don't want to discredit the Mojitos, though. Certainly since the start of the series and after game 1, they really just have leveled it up in terms of that consistency and just outplayed them in all 3/3 of the field.
No, you're absolutely right. It was something we were calling out the Mojitos for early in the series, was the defensive consistency not quite getting those hits, and we've seen how it leveled up in this game. You know, players reading two players in different spots at the goal to cover, and then at the other end, Badgers not being able to pull off the same thing. So you're right, just consistently better. Here's another ball off the back wall. Here's another finish. Input's not going to miss those, and we're at 5 goals. Talk about insurmountable. This is definitely one of those leads.
The worst part is that goal difference is actually a tiebreaker after game difference. So pretty sure the Badgers just want the entire of DFH Stadium to just sort of open up and swallow them, and they just won't want to be seen by anyone until next week, right?
Oh, fingers crossed. But hey, I mean, look, they have some more NSC games to play along the way as well. Look, they're still on the up there. So, you know, there's time for all of these teams. And that's the joy of Rocket League, is there's always another game that's only 5 minutes. Look, unless, you know, you play an 8-minute overtime, and Badgers do seem to be fond of those. That's going towards the goal. Badgers are, look, 1 goal in this game. Is that too much to ask Tylacto, do you think? I mean, it is if Valco's just going to continue to bully them.
It just doesn't matter at this point. If they get a goal, they'd just be setting themselves up for the Brazil, and it just feels like we both knew, watching that game to overtime, that the winner of that was probably going to take the series. And the second the Badgers typically lost it in typical Badgers fashion, it just felt like we might as well have got, you know, just gone and got some like candy floss, because we just knew what was going to happen next, and we just had to bide our time, swallow our fingers, and just be like, yeah, let's just watch how painful this is going to be.
Yeah, it's like watching someone play one of those really intense rhythm games, you know, and they've got the perfect streak going, they've got the combo, and you know, as long as they keep it going, it's fine, they'll get the high score. But it was just the combo breaker, was that long overtime. Badgers not quite able to pull it off, not meant as soon as it was gone, it was never coming back.
Exactly, as I think it could be the 7th here, as a good save from Manny, but they're just saving their pride at this point, and to be honest, I think most of that has probably already gone as well. He can fake out one, can he? Look, he passes to his invisible teammate. Fantastic infielders. Unfortunately, we're running out of time to get our Brazil there. The Mojitos, they won't get the 7th, and they'll be very happy with their performance here, I'm sure, as a 3-1 and a 3-0 to start their group stage is absolutely fantastic, as it is complete DEFCON 5 disaster for the Badgers here. They've had 2 very tough games to open the group that I feel like they sort of knew that they kind of needed to take one of them. It's a tough road from here for them.
It 100% is, and I think just as tough is the fact that this last game as well, the goal difference is there, and I said it last week because I was on that Badgers series as well, it was the potentially they look at that game 5 overtime, because, you know, it's a series loss instead of a series win on your scorecard, and that may be where if they just miss out on that 5th spot in the group on qualifying, they could look back at that and say, maybe this is where we could have won it. I think these 6 goals as well, if it comes down to an overtime, if it comes down to a tiebreaker as well, this 6-0 game is one you can look back at and say, we were keeping up with them earlier in the series. We didn't have to let it slip away this much.
Yeah, it just feels like that 8-minute overtime felt genuinely longer than 8 minutes. It felt like the entire saga of the Badgers' entire existence was being played out in slow motion in front of our eyes, but it really did just look like a slow motion car crash. I mean, you got a more vivid representation of what it was going to look like for them, because you got a complete black screen, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It was much longer for you than it was for me. I managed to miss the first 3 minutes, saving my energy. That's big brain play, shutting down your computer by mistake, exactly when the long overtime starts. But hey, Tylacto, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. That's going to be it from us on the cast. That's going to be it from me for this evening. We're going to throw it to a quick break. We'll be back with an interview from the victorious GEA Mojitos. So don't go anywhere, because that's going to be a banger as well. And there's more Rocket League to come.
No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Only just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up. Tonight, we gonna light it up. Tonight, we gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we gonna light it up.
sun come up. Ganja smoking, we got rum in me cup. Bad girls wind up on the dance floor. All the girls wind up on the dance floor.
And we are back after a fantastic series with the Mojitos and Birmingham Badgers. We have one of the GEA Fair Play Mojitos players on the desk with us to interview Elko. How are you doing this evening? I mean, a good 3-1 win to finish off your week. How are you feeling?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, I think we're pretty satisfied with the result, obviously. The first game was a bit shaky, but then, we managed to pull through.
The turning point must have been that overtime. What was it like to take that huge overtime? I'm sure Tylacto can tell you he was most likely exhausted after that overtime. How were you guys feeling?
Well, I mean, I think it was like 8 minutes, right? For me personally, it didn't really feel that long. I was kind of focused on the game and didn't really think about anything else. But then, in 6 minutes in, I missed an open net or like a goal I could have scored, and then it just felt like eternity. The next 2 minutes before we finished, yeah.
So, Tylacto, I'm sure you have plenty of questions for Elko after that series. So,
the thing for me was the overtime was heart-wrenching to watch. I mean, you say it was. I mean, once you won that overtime, it's the sort of overtime where it's hard to not think that whenever you win an overtime like that, the series after tends to follow. Is that what you were expecting in Game 3? Because it's what it looked like was happening when you went 3-0 up. How much of a slap in the face was it when they suddenly pulled 3 back just after halftime?
I think, I think you're right. The team that we have throughout the season, in the Dutch league, we pulled through many comebacks and we also threw many leads. But I think our mentality is fairly good, so we just laughed it off and just kept playing. We also, as you know, have FaZe as our sub/coach, so he's helped us as well during that game, and we kind of just kept our head high.
So what did FaZe tell you after that overtime and after game 1? It must be fantastic having a coach there to sort of help you out, but what is it like as a player to play these European university matches and get sort of that conversation in with another person who's watching?
I think it's always beneficial having a coach or a person that can tell you what you're doing wrong, or even remind you of things that you already know but just can't remember in the moment. Specifically, he told us to just take more time on offense and keep the communication up, which I think really helped because they weren't really challenging us in offense. It always felt like we had a lot of time, but in the first 2 games we didn't really use it well. And once we started taking our time and focusing on ourselves and having the confidence to go for plays, it kind of led to a lot of goals, as you could have seen in the last 3 games, or 2 rather.
Well, 2-0 for a week. You must have a little message for the other GA Fair Play team, the Martinis. So, do you have something to say to them? Have a little bit of a warning, a little bit of a...
I think, well, not really. I think the guys improved a lot over the season because they started as the second team, but they managed to beat us in the playoffs, finishing first. So I think they're doing really well. I just wish them the best, honestly.
Damn it! I was trying to start a rivalry between you two.
Yeah, it's not gonna work out. I think.
Thank you very much for joining us on the desk. We'll be moving on to our 3rd series of the day. Good luck for the rest of the season, and hope the rest of the group stage goes well for you.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.
That was Elko from GA Fair Play Mojitos, but we'll be moving on to our next Group D clash. Portsmouth Paladins facing off against Berlin Basilisks in the 3rd series of today. My goodness, Tylacto, we got Portsmouth. What an absolute joy to have them on the stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, we can talk about Portsmouth for as long as the fact that they've got their new roster and at times, haven't looked as convincing as you say, probably the favourites in Group D. But, I mean, in terms of their 3rd Riker at the moment, we know he might be struggling internet-wise. And maybe we'll have to sub in Canoy, but he's equally just as good, and they have played with both. But yeah, in terms of Portsmouth form coming into this, they certainly, I feel like, have to be the favourites. But then when you think, because of yesterday, they got a sweep over UEA, sweep over Harriet Watt, and then won 3-1 in their final game as well, I believe, over Kiel. So quite the statement from them, and they certainly seem to be revving up and being about as good as we expected them. But in terms of their opposition, the Berlin Basilisks, I mean, Wet Tiger, I'm sure you can talk to us more about them, because I feel like they might just be a little bit underrated coming in because they've not got any super noteworthy results. But at the end of the day, they're still a very strong team coming out of the Uni Liga, right?
Yeah, they're definitely a great team. Like, they're a really fun team. If they can get it going, they put a lot of pressure on the enemy team. I'm not sure if they can do that against Portsmouth, as they are a really, really good team themselves. But if they can get going, I think they can spell trouble for pretty much anyone in this competition.
Portsmouth Paladins surprisingly having to come through qualifiers, and they did that in a fine fashion. Whereas Berlin Basilisks, they managed to just creep into qualification for EURC through Kit turning down the invitation for the competition. But you sort of talked about how they might struggle in this series, but how much? How did they play against the German sides before they came fifth?
They didn't even finish that bad. I think they finished like 4th place in league play, and they were beating a lot of teams and gave them a lot of fits. But come playoff time, they lost against Stuttgart, which was really consistent before that, and they pretty much lost their drive. I'm not sure if they got back into form, but if they do, I think they will give Portsmouth their fits, and you will see it. Like, if they get their pressure, it's like 1 minute into the enemy side and they won't get their pressure off. But if it fails, it looks kind of bad sometimes, and they get some really easy goals against them.
It is this roster's first time in Europe. I mean, I said at the start of the broadcast that Berlin Basilisks did have a team compete back in EURC 2019, but this new roster is new to European competition. This is an open question to both of you. Tylacto, I believe you were one of the first teams to compete in EURC with Lancaster back in the day, so you kind of understand what it's like for a new team to come in and have to compete against an entirely new set of competition. And Wet Tiger, you've got experience with these guys. How do you think Berlin Basilisks are going to respond to the pressure of European competition and having to compete against completely new teams and new sides?
Yeah, I think it might be difficult for them, as they've pretty much gotten into their groove, and maybe they need some time to adapt against these high-class English teams and the other high-class opponents. But I can see Shirma and Moki pretty much. I can see them get into these games. You definitely will see it. Like, Shirma and Moki, those are two great players, and they have those potentials to get those double taps, and like from really weird angles. And even top teams can't defend those shots if they get on fire.
I think the thing that I would be saying, given that you know that, as you say, I used to play in EURC, I know the fact that it's scary for a new roster, but I also know that the general trend of EURC is just disappointment from the UK and, say, NSE teams. It really is just a typical habit that the UK teams seem to underperform, and maybe we just have been overrating them this whole time. Maybe they're just not very good, but I feel like Portsmouth certainly do regard us coming as favourites. When you look at the channel points predictions from chat, guys, 98% is in favour of Portsmouth Paladins, and I feel like it's kind of understandable as to why, at least. But then, I don't know, it's such a stacked lineup. Of course, they didn't auto-qualify, as you say, because last season they didn't have Mercy, who's now at the university. But, I mean, I feel like we have to back them. But also, at the same time, this is the sort of game where, in terms of European competition, we get to see, you know, are they really legit, and are they the real deal in terms of being a top quality team?
Well, Portsmouth Paladins have started off showing that they are the real deal, as they beat Twente on Monday 3 games to 1. And they need to continue that form. I mean, European competition is extremely difficult. Up against new teams, like I've sort of brought up constantly, you have to adapt to possibly new styles of play when you're facing up against other countries, as they can have a different play style as you travel between each league. But now that we're getting close to game time, Tylacto, you're going to be on the casting desk. Let's go for the early prediction. What are you thinking for these teams?
Well, on Monday I predicted 4 UK teams to win in a row, and 3 times they disappointed me. 3 in a row. Only Loughborough actually gave me some faith, but I don't know. To be honest, I mean, Portsmouth winning all their games yesterday, even if they might have some internet troubles, I kind of want to predict Berlin, but I just don't feel like I can. I feel like Portsmouth have to come out with a win here to ensure their, confident start to the group stage.
And Tiger, how are you feeling about your Berlin Basilisk team facing up against one of the best in the UK?
I'm really a fan of the Basilisk, and I don't see them getting swept right here. I could see them win this game if the Paladins have too many internet connection problems, but right now I can't see them really win this game. I think it will go into game 5, and you will be surprised by the Basilisks, but at the end I think Portsmouth is going to take it.
For myself, I feel like I do have to stick with the Paladins here. We do know about the internet issues, but I feel like maybe if it was Mercy or Psycho experiencing it rather than Rico, I think I would actually start being swayed towards Berlin Basilisks possibly taking the entire series. But I think there might be a surprise in store for us. I'm going to say 3-1, as I think maybe one series there might be an important laggy moment that might take it away for Berlin Basilisks, and they'll run away with that. But I'm saying Portsmouth 3-1. But it isn't our call to decide who wins this series. It is, of course, the teams on the pitch. Tylacto joined by Distan on the casting desk. You guys enjoy.
We sure will. Hello, I'm new to the desk. Hello, and I'm joined with Tylacto. Nice to meet you, Tylacto.
It's great to see you over there. You're looking fantastic.
Oh, stop it, you! I'm just excited for the absolute lovely game we have today, and the main thing I've got is what you were talking about. Is that disappointment? I have felt it time and time again. Watching EURC is like, for an English fan of Uni Rocket League, it is difficult, Tylacto. It is difficult.
It is. We are 2, UK team fans presenting to you Portsmouth, trying to impress. Brought to you by two players who have previously disappointed the UK in Europe. That is us.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's just a perfect circle that we've come around. The cyclic nature of EURC.
Yes, it's going to be a beautiful game. And the main thing I've heard, a little birdie that's suspiciously looks like our admin, has told me that Bats are a very determined team, and although they don't have the same results as Portsmouth on the same level, they're going to come into this with no fear, Tylacto.
No, it's certainly not. And I feel like until maybe yesterday when they got the 3-0 15-point week in NSC, I certainly still have my doubts about Portsmouth. I just feel like poor Rico is in such a hard spot. You know what it's like in so many of them rosters when you have 2 fantastic players, and it's so difficult for that third to ever gain any credit, and it's just a sort of permanent question of, oh damn, I'm just sort of not playing good enough, am I good enough sort of thing. The doubt that's on his shoulders is such a big deal, so I'm hoping he can come up with a good performance here, as Portsmouth already forced on the defensive in Yato, forcing a great save out of Mercy, right?
Yeah, I already saw it there. Rico was a little bit slow onto the rotation, and I just noticed now he backflips there. There is little things that are going to be the downfall of Portsmouth in certain rotations where Rico is going to be put under pressure. It's down to Mercy and Psycho to ensure that he is comfortable, because if you make the person who is less confident comfortable, then you can win these types of games.
Yeah, that's very true. Always about prioritizing, the confidence of the teams. The game at this level certainly played just as much on the field as on it. And you have to say the Basilisks have been the better team in the opening minute or so, as Rico will be out on that 50 though. But again, the loose ball is just a 3-1 for Basilisks, who they seem to just be racing each other for the ball at this point. And a great 50 into the midfield. Portsmouth are sort of yet to get an offensive play on the board, and a big bump from Moki there is going to ensure it stays that way, as Sherma with a high pop, maybe a mistouch there. Psycho with a shot all the way cross far post, and it doesn't matter if they only have one shot a minute and a half into the game. If that's the one that makes it count to punish, then it just doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, they just got punished on a slow rotation back there. You said it. They've been aggressive this game, but when you're an aggressive team going against a team with this kind of caliber, of players that like Psycho and Mercy, you're going to be punished, Tylacto. You're going to have, if you're going to leave them open nets, they're going to take them.
Yeah, it's just like, unfortunately, if you give them a free shot like that, then you can't be surprised when you end up conceding, as now they're trying to generate their own chances, though Mercy far back as third will mean no shot comes through and comfortable save is made. So clear, nice from the corner as Portsmouth begin to link up. Ryko to Mercy, though, the touch leaves a fair bit to be desired as Yato now linking up nicely with Mookie. That one is going to force a double commit out of the Portsmouth defense. There's a lot of midfield play here. Can Sherma... Oh, nearly put a shot on target as Moki can get the rebound. Surely no Psycho at the back post there. That's a big save to keep their lead here in game one.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful play from Portsmouth in the defense. That's what you come to expect when you've seen the players of Psycho and see Ryko also stepping up in the defense. They're just under pressure constantly, though. And that's what I'm worrying about. Are they going to eventually break, or are they that unbendable ruler?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, at least... despite, sort of getting that's like sucker punch that was that opening Portsmouth goal, it doesn't seem to have shook the Basilisks one bit as they continue to put up a fair amount of offense. Not like last series when that tragic overtime just really opened the floodgates temporarily, and that one is going to be just as open, and the bounce, I saw you react. You thought it might be one of them cursed bounces that are super hard to read, but Yato, patient under pressure, is going to put that one away.
So I quickly want to just say at the back there, Mercy was the only one back with his two teammates upfield going for that ball. He got bumped on the rotation, Tylacto, so it opened up a free goal for the Basilisks. They're 1-1 now. They are on fire right now, I have to say.
Indeed they are, trying to make sure the trend of underperformance and UK disappointment in Europe continues as well. Yato is going to get dunked out there by Psycho. He's looking to keep up this offense. The infield towards Ryko. A nice shot, forcing a double commit. Big save from Sherma, though, as the Basilisk will try and counter-attack, though. Hard to do at that point with no boost there. As, Psycho's touch is awkward. Down to Yato. Cross, will he get the bump on Ryko? No, the man lives to see another day, but the shot from Sherma, thankfully safe and sound for the Portsmouth defense, as Mercy will successfully yoink Psycho's boost completely. I don't know what I just watched there, as he will have to make the save. The save, though, not the best, but he will get the dunk. And right to his wrong there. That was confusing from the Portsmouth defense, but it did just about work out.
Yeah, I would say Mercy, doing the work against this team, but also for his team at times. Yeah. And credit to him. It's hard playing for two teams at once. I try it often, and it doesn't quite work out for me. But I have to say, Portsmouth do look erratic, but they are making the saves, and they are in the positions they need to be, and that's what you come to expect. But I have to say, I am very impressed by Basilisk in the first game, and I can't wait to see what they do. Oh god.
I mean, they've got 8 shots compared to just the 2 of Portsmouth, though of course we do expect the UK team to be clinical. You have to say, Berlin really have been on top, and can they turn this one into another chance? Surely Ryko can't recover in time. The half-fit play from Sherma, setting himself up and putting it in top shelf.
Ryko just caught on his heels there. Sherma with a nice pop-up. You just love to see that when you get those pops. You know what you got to do. You just got to put it in the back of the net, and that's what he did. What a beautiful shot, and Ryko just got caught there a little too far up.
Indeed they did, as Berlin Basilisks have the lead once more, bouncing back. Mercy looking for the double, won't quite find it. Psycho also baited into that play, so Ryko slapping it nicely onto the backboard, forces a double commit out of the German defense. Mercy needs the boost, though this time Psycho gets his revenge. Well, he will be the one making the play. What a play it could be if Mookie didn't make that fantastic save, as Ryko will whiff the touch in the corner. Time is running out for the Paladins. Mookie, nice touch in the corner, though it baits in. Mercy, the bounce is dangerous. The whiff comes through, but likewise from Psycho. Surely Berlin can see this one out. They put it across. The ball is down, and they do take game one.
Yeah, I mean, a great display there from the Basilisks. I have to say, I wasn't expecting them to come out the gate quite this early, but the bumps, the attacking plays that they have, yes, for the one goal they did let in, they definitely left an open goal. But if their rotation is aggressive and they're making the right touches, Tylacto, that means that they never have to worry about those things. And they have been on point. I have to say, though, Portsmouth need to look at other ways to play this out. They were playing well in defense, but they were relying on mechanical plays. But you can't do that. You need to have a solid rotation and understand each other's positioning. And I don't think they quite had it in game one. Maybe it's a warm-up, Tylacto, but I'm kind of worrying about that English kind of curse at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Berlin, credit to them. As you say, the best form of defense can sometimes just be offense. And across the board, they were just the better team then, forcing the ball. I'd love to see a heat map of it because it felt like it was in the Portsmouth half for so much of that game one. And I was proud of them when they bounced back from, being scored upon by Portsmouth. And, fantastic way of doing that. I was going to wonder if they could bounce back from losing a game as I thought it could be in game one. But instead, they just take the game one. And right now on the back foot is the favourites, Portsmouth. And realistically, we're going to have to wait and see how they respond to it.
Yeah, as we get underway here, I just want to see Portsmouth with a bit more aggression on the offense. I know they can do it, and I know that they can generate that offense, but it's plays like that where it's just going into the middle aimlessly, Tylactota. I don't want to see from them anymore.
They only put 4 shots up in the entirety of that game one, and you would expect so much more from a domestic championship contending side. But again, maybe a slow start for them, as we know that they did drop a game against Twente, and so we know that once they do get the engines revving, I'm sure to expect them to really put up some offense. But even there, turning back completely, allowing themselves to play reactive rather than proactive, and Mercy's going to have to make an awkward save from the backboard, but will wriggle his way out of that one past one player of both sides. The Psycho now getting that 50-50 as Berlin will have to work it from the back as Ryko again off the wall, but no one was there in the midfield for him, unfortunately, as the shot high just over the crossbar as Berlin are queuing up to take the shot, though Mercy's going to take their lives off that backboard. Ryko will be there to make an important save, as this time we get through the first minute without a goal once more. Yato, his shot going to be swapped away from the wayside by Mercy, and I don't know, I still feel like Berlin have the majority of the possession right now.
Yeah, I have to say, it looks like game one, version 2, Tylacto. I don't see much difference. I do see that Portsmouth, they are playing reactionary, but they're playing a lot more solid, at least in this first minute and a half here. And I have to say that Ryko is stepping up with a great challenge there as well, and he is doing well, but they need to keep the pressure. Like, touches like this are just not going to help them. They're having one-on-ones. But yeah, but again, it's down to the mechanical plays that I was talking about. They need to get a bit of pressure on their side, get the boost. Oh, a lovely pinch. But yes, I do believe Portsmouth are generating pressure now, Tylacto, and hopefully they continue to.
I mean, that was a huge save from Ryko there. Fantastic read from him and a great touch to follow it up as Mercy towards the net. I like what you're saying about trying to get boost control, as this Berlin team across the field has just looked so confident, and that's because every time I seem to go on their perspective, they've got so much as I say that, Sherma with none boost to play with. As I don't know, I feel like they've looked really confident, and more confident than Portsmouth should be allowing them to, as credit to the German side doing a fantastic job here in this series as a whole already, as Psycho will look to try and create something, but knowing he has time there, Sherma taking control, flicking it past one, such a composed play, and it's consistently what we're seeing coming out from them.
Yeah, I mean, especially Sherma is impressing me. He's making the flicks, making the touches, and again, he's right there, Tylacto. Sherma is in the right place at the right time, making the plays for his team, but you have to say Yato as well, doing the play here. Psycho misses, Ryko is in limbo, and Sherma capitalizes once again. What a player right now. He's stepping up for his team, but the whole team of Basilisks right now, they're playing for each other, and they're backing each other up. Portsmouth are against the ropes in this game. They really can't let them have this one.
Indeed they can't. They get to put a shot on the board, are Portsmouth, whereas Berlin just continuing to connect, and the confidence is flowing with 3 unanswered goals currently. The first one in this game as well. Psycho forced on the back foot again, has to make the save. Yato forcing him all the way back as Sherman will be there for the second ball off the corner. Mercy, though, will win the race to that one as once again Berlin find their net open for a split second, but Yato back in time and so swift to work that ball off the defense, and Ryko gonna have to try and do the same here, but this time he gets dunked. Psycho required, but beat to that ball. It's off the post and dangerous. Crossbar as well, still in front of the Portsmouth net. The shot comes through and down off the corner. It's Sherma again, and now it is 2 for the Berlin Basilisks.
Sherma gets the credit, but you have to say the whole team are all over them, Tylacto. They're working in a unit. They're working one by one. The rotation is working for the Basilisks. They're 2-0 up with 1:43 to go against Portsmouth, who were coming into this the favourites on the desk.
Indeed they were as well. Double 50 required from Portsmouth just to get the ball into the German half. Well, Yato's going to be able to 50 that one, though. Psycho comes out with no boost to his name. Mercy has to try and find a flick here, has to try and get an outplay, but Moki with the save on the back line, and a huge one at that to conserve their 2-goal lead as well. Portsmouth, they're already running out of time. It feels like in a blink of an eye, they could be 2 down, not just in the game, but in the series, right?
Yeah, I just feel they're playing reactionary style, like, so when they really need to take the initiative right now. If you're 2-0 down or even 1-0 down, you need to be starting to take initiative. Even 0-0 in Rocket League is about taking initiative and making those proactive plays, and that's what Basilisks are doing. And Portsmouth are just letting them because they feel comfortable being reactionary, but it's not working out so far.
Nah, it's not working out at all, and the shot counter across the 2 games speaks volumes. Portsmouth do have 1 for this game, though that is 4 and a bit minutes with just 1 shot, and that is just a bit embarrassing, really, as well. Mercy with the 50 with Yato. Raiko is going to work it in the corner, hopefully out there. Psycho has to force a nearly impossible angle as the 50. Sherma beats out the defender again. Can he pull the trigger? Oh, Raiko back just in time for that save. Mercy away to the side here. Top that wall, looking for the play. Sherma again shutting things down. They are so confident on the side of Berlin. Meanwhile, Psycho whipping shot across towards the top corner. Raiko is required again. Fantastic defense from him on the side of Portsmouth, but you have to say, it's just not what they want to have to be doing right now.
No, I mean, I have to say, all of Portsmouth have had great moments in the defense, but that's the key word, I like, though. It's just in the defense. I haven't seen the offense that we would expect from this team, and they now go 2-0 down in the series. Their life, or their life of the tournament, but at least in this series, is now they're 2-0 down to a team. Let's remind ourselves, this team finished 5 out of 6, like 5th or 6th even, of the Uniliga. And this is Portsmouth we're talking about, who are one of the top teams for the UK. So it's great to see. I do want to just say Sherma has been stepping up on the offense for his team, but his teammates just back him up on the rotation. They allow him to make those plays, make something happen, and they follow up with complete trust. And that's what you want to see in a team, and that's what I heard. These guys are committed for each other. They play for each other, and you can tell that that's what they do.
Exactly, just by far the better team, and if you didn't know better, you'd just outright say the better players right now as well. As you say, they were Berlin Basilisks, the 4th seed out of the 5 coming out of Germany into EURC, whereas Portsmouth the 3rd out of 12 on the side of the UK. And you know, the most painful thing I think to think about is I don't think Portsmouth actually generated a meaningful chance in 2 entire games. Their 1 goal just came from a complete shore-to-shore hit onto an open net, effectively. They really haven't been able to create a single thing in 10 minutes of Rocket League.
And you have to understand that if you're going into the 3rd game 2-0 down, you've probably had the experience, and so have I, where you just feel like you're not generating anything. It's going to be disheartening. So it's about that mentality shift. They have to shift it now, Tylacto.
They have to. They really do, as it will be pinnacle to see if they can get the opening goal in this Game 3. But right off the back, it's Berlin with possession off kickoff. Psycho trying to shut that one down, but Raiko, he will be there to keep up that. But I say Mocky in the corner, getting it past that one. Mercy immediately fake challenging, going back. The midfield given up to Berlin, as Psycho will make a great challenges with much more what they need. Onto the backboard, not sure the idea there. Raiko is back, forced alone. He will turn, will make the challenge, and a big challenge that they start meeting them further down the field, right? Because it feels like every time they just sort of exchange a ticket, and it's like, yep, we're right down your end of the field, as I say, Mercy looking for the... I mean, that's just what's happened there, effectively, despite that flip reset attempt, as Raiko is allowed to take the ball out the corner, though doesn't realise he has time. Ends up passing it to Mocky, though. Likewise, that comes straight back at Psycho. He's not going to have any boost to play with the next moment. Also, Mercy, though, for the big 50, and feels like, you know, Portsmouth are sort of breathing in this game. They're getting times to recover, although clumping up like that and allowing Sherma to get the ball past to you once again is sort of sending mixed messages for me right now.
Yeah, I have to say they do have a little bit more breathing space right now, and that is good to see. They're definitely getting some aggression. My one trouble is they're definitely going for more of the big hits, the booming clears and such, but they're not going anywhere. What I want to see, a key player in this Portsmouth side is Mercy. He can make those plays, those air dribble plays, those mechanical plays. He just needs to start. I mean, the demo there is a great way to start as well.
Well, Raiko might be able to find the angle here, though. Mocky forced to make that save, though. It is much better from Portsmouth for their first, you know, period of extended pressure ever so far in this series, which is so important about making those Basilisk players feel far less comfortable, as Yato with a diving to prone save. Absolutely fantastic save. You have to say, keeping the scoreline dead, though. Portsmouth still asking their questions, looking for the demo. Will Psycho have the shot? Yes, near post. Finally the breakthrough, and Portsmouth looking like a new team in that past minute there.
Yeah, and the difference is that Mercy is going for these demos now. He's being aggressive. He is done, Tylacto. He's like, no way are we letting this one slip.
Yeah.
And they've got a goal from the demo, and that's what they're doing. They're breaking up the rotation, and that's great to see.
Indeed it is, though. Immediately off the kickoff, the response will be there from Sherma once again. He just can't stop scoring right now. Doesn't even care that Mercy's up for it. He's just like, yep, you're missing. Punts it in at the near post. Raiko can't get back in time. And immediately, the turnaround and slap in the face from Basilisk. Just like, yeah, we're still here. Come and try and beat us. Come on, then.
Yeah, we're here, and we're here to play. You know, even if you're going to bite back, we're going to bite back even harder. And a kickoff goal is a kick in the teeth.
Oh, it really is a kick in the teeth. Mocky again making the goal line save. As the question is, can Portsmouth keep up the momentum that they still do have despite that reactionary goal? It's been so much better than them compared to the opening 2 games. And I feel like once you get that pressure, once you really start shutting down Berlin, you know, the ball goes into their court, and it's just so much easier to win by making your opponent play worse, you know? So Psycho is going to try and force that discomfort out of them with a nice double touch followed up by Mercy. These are sort of high-flying plays that we were expecting to see more of, although I don't feel like they should have to be necessary as such. It is nice that Portsmouth appear to have the confidence to be going for them, as that's dangerous. It's straight down, and oh my goodness, Psycho with a fantastic play, planning the redirect in off Yato. How does this man calculate own goals like? Yeah, this is just unfortunate for Yato.
I use his voodoo mind tricks there, otherwise known as hit it at the top of the wall behind the goal and hope, Tylacto.
Oh yeah,
that is what we call that.
It's such a dirty trick, isn't it? The second you see that ball going straight down, you're like, oh no, especially when you're on the defending side. The receiving end of that is not a nice place to be, although what we were just talking about, you know, forcing Berlin Basilisk to be uncomfortable, that is such a great way to do it, and making them own goal is just, you know, the epitome of that, and I think that really bodes well for, you know, Portsmouth in this game, and therefore the series as a whole, right?
Yeah, I mean, the main way you stop a team with momentum, a team that are motivated, a team that aren't super proven, but they're making themselves known, is to break their momentum, is to make demo plays and make them, like, feel uncomfortable in the rotation, and that's what they've started doing. They've been making awkward touches into the top of the wall, and they have been demoing, and although they're on defense now, they look a lot more controlled, but it has to be said, it was
a lot more controlled until that moment there when there was a sort of pre-jump bump that sort of came out, and it was like, yeah, we're okay, but we possibly might not have been if that went any other different way. But yeah, Portsmouth do hold on to that lead, and it certainly has looked better, though I think the bar was very, very low for that in the opening 2 games. They do have the lead heading into this final minute, as I am personally glad to say they have outshot in this game too, although Berlin Basilisk, I refuse to count them out right now, as Yato, can he turn and make a difference? No, not quite. Sherma and Mocky now back on the defense. Mocky up off that back ball, looking for the air dribble pass. Psycho will get dunked out, though. Yato is required. Nice touch from him, though. Sherma is going to be kind of forced to try and follow up. It does bring Mocky into the play, though. His shot more of a tickle, and so Psycho able to take that one down the left-hand side, though. Awkward touch from Raiko. Will force out the save from Yato, but I mean, Berlin Basilisk don't want to be having the ball in their half right now, though. That slap to the backboard is looking good. Raiko with another great defensive touch as a shot onto the net. Could it be? No mercy with the block, followed up by Psycho. Once again, the Berlin Basilisk forced onto the back foot, though it's shown the tables have turned. Have they? No, Raiko with another big block on defense off the backboard. The block comes through again from Portsmouth. The bus is parked. It just has to not get a ticket for the next 10 seconds.
Oh my word, this is intense! Oh, and he nearly gets this jump. Oh my god!
Oh!
He's right in front of the net!
The bump! Oh my goodness, the bump from Mercy. I thought they were going to concede on 0 seconds, but Portsmouth, they do hold on, and it was not comfortable at all to watch. I can't imagine what it was like to play, but they do get the crucial win in Game 3. And when you talk about reverse sweeps, Distan, the hardest game is always that Game 3 to get things going, right?
Yeah, because it's that mentality switch that I was talking about just before the game started. It's hard when they were basically having no chances. The only chance they got and the goal they scored really was an open net that was given to them. And so they've created chances this game. They took the initiative, took demos, and also with the waterfall play, which was really nice to see. And I'm happy to see this Portsmouth, but there's a long way to go. There's still
There is.
it's one game at a time, and Berlin Basilisks are still proving themselves and putting pressure on this team. But I just want to shout out Raiko, who had an amazing game. He got 2 assists, and he made one crucial save that I feel was a one-on-one that you would think Raiko would be struggling with, but he didn't. And I really liked seeing that.
It was huge that he stood his ground there, and realistically, I don't want to curse things, but it always feels like the story, at least for an underdog, in this case the Basilisks, the strategy always is the sort of smash and grab. We talked about it last series. Badgers could easily have won that series if they took it 3-0, but the trend always seems to be that once the favourite sort of starts winning, you know, it's sort of so hard to stop that snowball effect, and that is the test that is on the Basilisks right now, as it may be 2-1 to them in the series, but it does feel like this Game 4 is a huge tipping point to see if they can prove that trend wrong, as right now, I would have to consider, you know, Portsmouth the favourites right now. If they keep this momentum rolling, the series could be over in the blink of an eye. Despite them being 2-1 down, you can see why from this unrelenting offense that is already, you know, coming straight out the gates in Game 4 here.
Yeah, their offense is aggressive. You can tell every time the first man on the ball is done with the ball, they go for the demo. And I'm noticing it more and more, and that's what a confident team does. They want to win. They're here to win. They're saying no to the reverse sweep. Oh, they are saying yes to the reverse sweep even. Yeah. And oh my word, it is a chance here though for Yato.
A chance for Yato, but we talk about plays like that, the demo that sort of get rid of that confidence of Berlin Basilisk, and you have to feel that, I was going to say, earlier in the series, chances like that would go in, but go in it does, and once again, it is Sherma, the marksman for the Basilisks right now, catching Raiko off guard, and does strike back for Berlin, who do take a crucial 1-goal lead to stifle that momentum in this potentially crucial series-winning Game 4.
Yeah, I have to say, it's with this Basilisk team, the trend is the 1-2-3. The one of them clears it, or one of them gets a touch, one follows, and one finishes. And typically, it has been Sherma that's finished, but his teammates have been just there for him time and time again to put him in the positions that he needs to be. They're so quick right now, Tylacto.
Indeed, this is testing time for Portsmouth. May have been favourites coming into NSC, may have been favourites coming into this series. Mercy will be back and have the boost to make that save, although it did look a bit close from our angle. Can he get the ceiling pass? Oh, such a big block by Sherma. The plays he is making absolutely clutch right now, as Psycho does force it in field, though it's only forcing a save as a bounce shot from Raiko is denied by Sherma once more. He gets a second touch, though, lands on top of the ball as Psycho is up. Can he get it round? Surely not. No way, as Mocky closes the distance way too fast there, as Portsmouth looking to stay in the midfield, but Sherma's going to beat them out there as well. Psycho up, uncontested. No, he's going to be blocked by Yato, and that's big that they get that defensive stop there sooner rather than later, as there's still time for Portsmouth, but Basilisks do look like they're threatening about striking back and getting a second.
Yeah, they are for sure. It just feels good that a lot of this game has been played in the midfield. A lot of them, they're stopping each other from getting too far into each other's boxes, but now it seems to be box to box, and a shot from Mercy is beautiful pass and a beautiful shot. Oh my word.
A huge link-up play to keep their hopes in the series alive, and there's 3 players on defense, but they wove their way in between, and that is the quality that we know this team has. But Berlin may not have the same level of players, but they still have been the better team so far in the series. They just need to remind themselves of that, not forget that in terms of their confidence, because Portsmouth continuously threaten to run away with this Game 4 and threaten that reverse sweep as a whole.
Yeah, you have to say that Portsmouth are now here to play, but so are Basilisk. They're both butting heads. They're both making plays now. It wasn't like at the start where it felt a little bit toothless from Portsmouth. Everyone has teeth now. Everyone's got teeth, Tylacto.
Exactly, as well. It's carnival action right now. The team just eating each other on the field of players. Raiko will find Portsmouth in the midfielders. He will be able to follow up his own touch there onto the back ball. Surely not a third. No, Mercy with the fake challenge will bait the hit out of Mocky, though he is invited to take that shot. Yato going to get dunked on the wall by Raiko as it's uncontested in the midfield. No, Mocky with a crucial touch there to keep that one away, as Mercy is forced into an awkward one. Goes backwards. Sherma, he's there, but gets dunked in the corner by Raiko. The touch still dangerous, though. Follows it up with a huge block and play from him as Psycho to that wall. 0 boost. What can he do to follow it up? He can force a touch out of the defense, though Yato don't think he's reaching this one. Bit of discomfort for Berlin as it's off the corner here. Psycho not quite. His shot off target there, as Mercy will look to do the same. Forces a stop out of Mocky as well. Hang on a minute. Ryko, his touch, high. Psycho winning the race to the ball, though his touch way out wide. We're heading for the final minute of game 4 here, and you feel like if nerves are going to start coming out the gates, then this is when you're going to start seeing them making a factor in this play, as it certainly starts to feel like judgment time for both teams, right?
Yeah, but you have to also put into like perspective is that Portsmouth, this is their, this is for the series. I mean, they could lose if they lose here. So there is an added little pressure. Oh, and Psycho gets the dunk, but you also have to take into account that the players on Portsmouth are experienced, competitive players. They have been put in positions with harder players on the other side of the field, or on paper at least. But right now, both teams are fighting.
Ryko's going to win that one out on the defense. Awkward touch for Yato to make it. He does. Buys time. Can Ryko get the redirect? No, Sherma is there and whisks that one away just from under his mouth as well. Psycho, doesn't quite get that 50. Mercy onto the backboard. Yato reads it, though, in front of the net. It still is, so Sherma is required, though. Ryko baited in as he does try and find that second touch. Psycho through that corner into the final 10 seconds we go. Bumping plays coming out. Mercy off that corner. Sharma with the misread. Ryko couldn't quite get that angle though. Will the ball stay up? Yes, it will. Mercy into the corner. Second touch. It's in the mid, but Psycho's too far forward. Portsmouth getting ahead of themselves here as they have to probably kill the ball off and let it go to overtime. Mercy says no to that, though I think that will be the outcome anyway. Next goal, if it goes Basilisks their way, they will be taking the series 3-1 in what has to be an upset, though would be a huge result. And unfortunately, it would be a huge result for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, after Portsmouth starting off so well in their first series, this is quite a surprise. They're fighting those. Psycho is doing the most right now. What a pass, but no one's there. Mercy didn't want to commit. Oh my words, I have no words. The shot. Oh my god.
Ryko, unbelievable shot. It's down off the crossbar, and we had to just think, is it actually? Is it going to? Moki's in there in the corner. Sharma couldn't keep it out either, and it just edges over the line, and Portsmouth edge closer to the reverse sweep because we have Game 5 here, ladies and gentlemen.
They have brought it to Game 5, and I just want to say, although he is at the bottom of the scoreboard on his team, Ryko has been stepping up. I know he has internet issues sometimes as well, but he is stepping up, Tylacto. In the defense, I was going to say, even if he didn't score that last goal, in defense, he has been showing up. He's becoming more confident and mechanical as the series is going along, and I think that's the decider, Tylacto. As we talked about at the start before this series, it's about making the third comfortable when you have the talent on this team.
Exactly, the talent on this team. We cannot discount the work that Ryko has done at both ends of the field there, though I also have to look at that fantastic play, Psycho to Mercy, that pretty much kept them in the series. That's the crucial goal. The chips are down. Who's going to pull you out of it? And it was them two linking up perfectly, despite all three Berlin Basilisk players being back on that defense, though. The momentum may be all with Portsmouth, though at no point have they won them 2 games comfortably, and if Berlin can strike first, who knows what could happen as we head on to Champions Field. Game 5, can Portsmouth stay undefeated in the group, or can Berlin pull off a huge win here to improve their credentials and hopes in terms of placement finishing?
Yeah, and I have to say, it could go either way, because although Portsmouth may have the momentum on paper, it's not looked convincing, Tylacto. It really hasn't. I feel that Basilisks have a good defensive setup. They just need to have confidence in themselves and confidence in the rotation and each other, because they are able to withstand the pressure that is put on them right now.
Yeah, Sherma as well. A nice touch on that defense, forcing Ryko to put it out towards the side. Can Portsmouth deal with this one okay? I think so. Mercy into that corner. Can he get it past one? Yeah, but the second Mookie, he's going to bog that one no problem, as Yato going to be trying to whip this one out for an infield. Mercy caught a little far forward. Will be forced to backflip, though, catching his second touch nicely. Mookie patiently, though, with a shot towards the net. Ryko is forced to make the save. Is it still shootable from Sharma? Yes, it is. And once again, he finds the angle at the near post. And Portsmouth caught flat-footed there. A big demo helping that one out. But Berlin Basilisks, they strike first.
I wanted to touch on this whole series, but I didn't feel it was relevant until now. Raiko's third man positioning is not convincing Tylacto, and it's shown there in the worst possible time.
Yeah, indeed it is, as Portsmouth once again have to play from behind, though this isn't the first time they've had to do it, with a shot coming out from Mercy. Again, the crossbar denying them, and it just ticky-tackers, and Raiko unable to get the shot away due to confusing bounces as Mercy pays with his life for that clear. Berlin again threatening on the counter, though. What matters is that they keep their defense tight right now, that with still nearly 4 minutes to hold on. Parking the bus is nowhere near an option just yet as Raiko out towards Portsmouth. He flicks it towards the net, though Mocky will be back in time to make that block. All 3 Portsmouth players there in that exact same area of the pitch. None of them going to be able to stop him getting that ball from shore to shore. So a big pinch from Raiko should see Portsmouth on the counter attack. Can Mercy get a dunk here? Yes, it's up, but I think it's a little too high for anyone to really do anything with. So Berlin going to be able to deal with that one. It's high in the corner. Portsmouth looking for the pass out towards Raiko, though. Big block from Mocky again. Already a big performance from him in the opening 2 minutes as Berlin again, they're threatening on the counter.
Yeah, Mocky isn't a name I've said much yet, but it seems he is the midfield presence. He is the defensive presence at times for that rotation, although that was a little bit close from the other two. But yeah, I've been so convinced by him, but they are looking a little bit shaky right now. I think the nerves may be getting to them.
Indeed, maybe it is as well. Berlin linking up again to get the ball deep into the Portsmouth end. They kill so much time every time they do that as Sherma keeping them penned in there. Psycho again has to hit the ball away, though. Yato with a whiff. Could this be what they need? Psycho's touch is down, but can anyone really get to it? No, it's just a pass to Sherma. No boost on the tank, though, means that Portsmouth again can deal with it on the defense, though. Into the latter half of the game, they still need an equalizer. Crossbar down, but not in from Psycho. A big chance goes by the wayside as Berlin hold on once again through the help of their woodwork, but hold on they do.
They just didn't put it on target. It was such a good option, and then the pass back, no one was there. Everyone had used their boost and were rotating out, so the pass goes wayward and it is cleared. I mean, they're back in the half now, but they're putting on the pressure. 2 minutes to go, Tylacto.
Oh, the crossbar again denying Mercy after a fantastic shot, though they can't just generate a clear-cut chance, and Berlin Basilisk shutting off all but the most difficult of angles as Mercy popping it up. Can he make a play here? No, Mocky shuts him down again, and time is dripping off the clock right now. Yato into the corner. You think if Portsmouth overcommit right now and they concede, the series could be over as Mocky again patiently positioned on defense. Sherma looking for the redirect, won't quite find it on target though. Under 90 seconds to go. Mocky with a 50 in the corner. Yato with the shot, bounces, but Raiko with the savers. Portsmouth with their heart in their mouths right now. They still need to make a play happen, and Mercy cannot reach that one. Raiko with a big challenge in the corner. Can he get a second touch? He pops it out, but once again the Berlin Basilisk through Sherma gonna whisk that ball away from under their noses. Mercy, oh, the touch from the side, a little bit dangerous there. It's off the backboard. Psycho has to make the read, but make it he does. Into the final minute of Game 5 we head, and Portsmouth, they still need a goal right now.
They still need a goal, and they're double committing everywhere in defense. The demo there, I want to see more demos. I've said it time and time again, although there's zero boost on the last defender here, but Psycho is composed. There's 45 seconds left, and oh my word, I am seeing Portsmouth struggling right now, but they need to get some offense going, and they need to get those demos going again, but it's against them right now.
I don't think they can. Berlin doing way too good of a job of keeping them in their half. Confident play. Yato passing it to himself. Could have put the ball away if not for a save from Mercy as well. As Raiko out that corner will get the dunk. But again, the possession in the midfield. Hang on a minute. Psycho cuts it out. Can Berlin deal with it? The bounce met by Mercy, though. An uncharacteristic poor touch. Raiko has to try and deal with it. But the time is running out too fast. Psycho's going to get bumped. But the shot from Mercy towards the net. From out of nowhere, the RKO from Mercy towards the top shelf. They blink for 1 second, and Berlin find themselves equalised on with 10 seconds left. Mercy comes up with the goods there.
Oh my god, the RKO is catastrophic. What a pass from the two that you were talking about. Psycho into Mercy. That is the duo, but the game is still going on. They've equalled it, but it is now going to be down to 1 goal to win it.
Oh. Oh my goodness me, off the backboard, it's still up. Sherma looking for the counter-attack. Can Mookie keep it up? No, the ball will hit the ground. Could Portsmouth reverse sweep here? It doesn't matter who, because the next goal will have the series winner, and both teams have deserved it at this point. Yato deep into the Portsmouth end, immediately trying to keep themselves on that front foot that they were for so much of this game already, and so much of this series as a whole. But Portsmouth finding mercy in the opposing half. The pass, oh, Yato, he holds the line and stands his ground. Berlin, they still hold on early in overtime here. Yato off that corner wall, the touch, Mercy looking for the bump, means that Moki's touch, high and awkward. Can Raiko make the punish here? It's dangerous off the corner towards the net. Mercy up, but denied again by Yato. Sherma with the second touch, gonna whisk it away though. Portsmouth, they seem to be racking up the engine right here, though Moki with some time to buy a shot. Oh my goodness, he's whiffed, but it fakes out. Raiko, Mercy's up, but Yato with the challenge shuts him down again in the midfield. Who lands on the second ball? It's Sherma trying to find Yato. Can he make the play on offense here? No, Psycho, he's gonna cut that one out. Raiko into that same corner. Moki, surely Mercy can't reach this. It's awkward, but the shot also just off target as Portsmouth breathe a sigh of relief for now, and Sherma slightly whiffing on that touch, gets the bump though. Moki into the corner, surely he can't work it past the defense. No, Mercy, he's here, but with no boost to his name. Who's going to take this one? It will be Raiko. Good communication from the Portsmouth side there, looking for the infield. Is Mercy off the backboard? The response easy for the Berlin defense though. Shot from Psycho. Yako again, this man might be setting a world record for saves. He's at 5 at the moment, but it feels like so much more right now. The weight of every one of these saves keeping them in the series. Moki trying to send it deep into the Portsmouth end again. Neither side wanting to overcommit.
It is going to come down to either a silly looking mistake or a moment of brilliance, it feels like, Tylacto, and it could come here, but no. Oh my word, the pressure right now on Berlin is insane, but they're dealing with it. They look like they've been here for years. This is their first game in the ERC right now.
True it is. So much respect for the German competition. What a series they have made of this, though. Credit to Portsmouth for even coming back, as it could have been a sweep. As well, Sherma up, down off the ceiling. Can Psycho make the read? Yes. Down to Raiko. The touch. Awkward though. Can he get the dunk? No. Berlin looking to build into the end, though none of them wanting to commit into the Portsmouth half. So scared of overcommitting, but then they end up double committing. It's cleared, but Moki is there. His touch not powerful enough. Raiko's going to be able to control that one, though he does get the boost steal, and back onto the Portsmouth backboard it goes. Mercy looking to control it with the wave dash up off the wall. How much boost can he save here? It's flicked towards the Berlin backboard. Can Moki make the touch? Yes. Psycho not positioned for it, so Raiko comes in, no problem. Good pressure from Portsmouth here. Psycho looking to win the race to the ball, and he does. 2.5 minutes into overtime, and Berlin's heart is broken as Portsmouth will come up with the goods when it matters the most with the Game 5 overtime reverse sweep, and both times snapshots that you couldn't see coming until it was too late. And unfortunately for Berlin, that was the story of the series for them. So close, but when it mattered the most, Portsmouth were just that tiny bit better.
I am just so impressed by the Basilisk now, but even more impressed by this Portsmouth team. The resolve, the mentality to come back in the way they did. All of them just stepping up in different ways, and just... Oh, Berlin were hanging on for dear life at times, but they were dealing with it well, and just one mistouch and Psycho claims his victims right there, and the composure really showing.
Yeah, I think massive props, not so much to the Portsmouth play, but the Portsmouth mental fortitude for that series, as Berlin was so fantastic, and so easily they could have won that series in a sweep. But once again, the curse of when the favourites get the ball rolling, right? It just feels like they can't be stopped, as the smash and grab was not successful from Berlin. But still, you think a result like that, anyone who's watched this series and goes up against Berlin in that group, right?
I don't want it. I don't want it. Exactly. I don't want the Basilisk to come get me. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to be near them.
All right. Well, we've got another matchup between NSC and Uniliga, of course, coming up. As after the break, our next series will be the Essex Blades, reformed and now playing together, though. Never really know what you're going to get out of them. A mixed pack for sure. They'll be going up against what was the second seed coming out of Germany, and that's Dusseldorf. So a fantastic series we're sure to get there, as if, you know, it's quite a hard bar we set with this one, but I'm hopeful to see that we can go all the way in that one too. So we'll head to a break, and we'll have that series ready for you right after it. We'll see you then.
Well, we've allowed our hearts to steady a little bit after that incredible reverse sweep from Portsmouth as Berlin Basilisk fall in Game 5 after a quite impressive series. But it's not who we're talking to at the moment. Psycho, I've only got one question to start off with. We've been over it already, but why?
We like creating entertainment. We saw everyone's predictions. We saw the 98% going to Portsmouth, and we thought, you know what, let's get them on edge a bit. So we had an interesting dynamic where all three of us played awfully to begin with, and then we clutched it up. So happy days.
It seemed like the internet issues luckily didn't rear their heads, but how do you think? I think Kanoi is feeling. I'm about to say Esper, but Esper was playing. He's changed his name like 20 times. How do you think Kanoi must have been feeling watching that series go down, just thinking, oh god, if something happens, I'm going in?
So essentially, we had Kanoi be on the bench just in case. Raiko, which is a guy called TJ, he's not Esper at all. Esper does not exist for us right now, and he hasn't for quite a long time due to work commitments. But as soon as he can get going again, of course, we'll be happy to have him. But so we had Raiko playing for us today, but the problem is he has a really underpowered laptop, and it often goes into battery savings mode, and when it does, the performance just tanks. So what happened is he had his laptop without a charger, so that didn't sort of work out well. And in the last game, it just entered saving mode, and like the world just crumbled. But I'm sure Kanoi was definitely having a few like clench buttocks moments. I think it's fair to say. I don't know. You'd have to ask him, but I can imagine he was pretty terrified.
Well, I'm sure Orion has a few questions. We were both sitting in the same channel.
Yeah, question number one, laptop. Thonk. No, I'm being serious. Like, what was your... what was the team feeling? You know, you're the favourites coming into it, and all of a sudden you find yourselves down 2 games. Like, what was there kind of, you know, a team talk and like who was leading that? You know, what was the feeling like?
Yeah, definitely. So after the second game, we sort of realised something was up, and the fact we hadn't really practiced before this game, if we're being honest, sort of played a part, I think. So we sort of had a chat 2 games through. I think I was very like mechanically not confident, so I was playing very slow. I was playing very defensive. Mercy was overcompensating, and he was sometimes cutting rotations, and we were being a bit too fast, where it didn't matter. So we toned that down as well. We had a chat generally about like just taking it easy, playing from the back, supporting each other, and then after that, it was still sketchy because we conceded like a kickoff goal, which was totally my fault, and something else which was a bit sketchy, like a weird corner bounce or something. But other than that, it was a lot more strong.
Yeah, you definitely... You still made it hard for yourselves. You had to come back from a goal down, I believe, in 2 games still to get the reverse sweep. And then that overtime as well. Like, you know, I've been in positions like that myself where, you know, your hands start sweating and you can't hold the controller properly without shaking. Like, were you getting those feelings, or were you calm going into that overtime?
I mean, I think personally, like, I've been in those sketchy situations so many times where the nerves don't really play a part to your gameplay, but you understand that they exist.
Yeah.
So it's like you're still like, oh crap, we really got to get our act together. It's like you look at the time. There's 1 minute 10 left, and you're thinking, right, we need to score on this attack, otherwise we might not get another chance. It's like you have those thoughts, but yeah, I mean, it's fine so long as you can keep a level head.
Absolutely.
And Tiger, this man took all your channel points. Now, so do you have any thoughts and questions on him after they pretty much took out their opposite numbers? I believe Portsmouth it was 5th-6th technically after last split, wasn't it, Psycho? And of course, Dusseldorf, well, not Dusseldorf, we got them next. But Berlin Basilisk 5th in the Union League, so Tiger, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I was quite impressed. Like I said, for me, it was a win-win situation, as my prediction here was 3-2 for Portsmouth, so I'm fine with the result. Just a question for you, Psycho. Were you kind of impressed with the pressure the Basilisks put on the first 2 games? You still managed to win the series, but like the second game especially, it was 10-1 shots against you, and they put a lot of pressure on. Even if you didn't play your A game, was it the thing you expected from a lower seed out of Germany?
I mean, honestly, we didn't look at the team going into it particularly. We saw the names and we were like, yeah, I think I've heard of him. And then we just got on with it, right? But Yato especially was like mechanically, like he was a highlight. Like he was very fast. He was committing for stuff you wouldn't expect him to commit for, and he just did really well keeping the pressure. I think Mocky was pretty good supportively, and individually they're all like pretty damn solid players. So yeah, they made it tricky.
Well, you start off the EURC split 2-0 after coming through the qualifiers, so great start to the season. Good luck for the rest of the groups and the rest of the EURC. Thanks for joining us, Psycho.
Yeah, thanks very much.
There you have it. Portsmouth 3-2 win, but that's it for that game. Now moving on to Series 4 of this evening. Dusseldorf Gaming Dragons currently 1-0 in their group. And Essex Blades also 1-0 in Group B. Tiger, let's start with you after that wonderful performance from Basilisk despite falling short. Dusseldorf Gaming Dragons, third in the Uniliga, coming into this arguably as favourites after talking to everyone in the channel.
Yeah, Düsseldorf is it's pretty much my favorite team. They have a great fan group, as you can see pretty much in the chat right now. You might well see that in further games. Great thing about Düsseldorf is they have a really strict game plan. It's like the team in Germany where you literally know what they will do. They always try to play from the side and try to mid-pass it, like a low mid-pass into the backfield and then score out of these plays. And they'll do it over and over again. It's like they're literally doing nothing else, but it's so effective and they're doing it so well. And also, like, it's a longer statement by me, but also, if they've gotten so much better. It was just limbo at first, but now they are a real team. They are playing the whole time. They've played for a year just to get a matchmaking every single tournament they could get into, and it really shows.
Well, let's move swiftly on to predictions, as I've let the build-up just run a little bit late. This is the main event of the evening in my mind. Despite the performance that Portsmouth put on, it feels like a UFC fight card in that way. Some undercard fights just are incredible, whereas the main event can be a little bit of a letdown. But I don't think we're going to have that. I think Essex are going to bring their A game. They are on an 11 series win streak in NSC. They are performing out of their minds in the UK competition. I reckon they can definitely bring that performance here. Dusseldorf third in the country though. It's going to be yikes, unfortunately. I think Dusseldorf is still going to take it 3-2. Ryan, what's on your mind?
Well, you know, I've got to back the Essex boys. They had a bit of a wobbly start to the NSC season, but, you know, they've regrouped, regained, and they're looking stronger than ever. As you say, 11 series on the bounce. They're 1-0 in the group. I reckon they're going to be 2-0 in the group by the time this series is over, and they are going to take down the favourites, Dusseldorf.
And Tiger, what are you thinking?
For me, it's just the team play from Düsseldorf that will make this game. They rarely overcommit. They rarely double commit. And that might be too good for Essex to handle. I'll give them the 3-1 win in the series.
There you have it. There's the casters. This is your main event of the evening. Distan, Tylacto, this one's for you.
Oh, I mean, I'm feeling a little bit nervous going into this one. I don't know about you, Distan, as of course I think it's fair to say Düsseldorf are the favourites. We can say Essex may be on a very good domestic win streak, though that is due to the fact that they imploded after their first week of league play and then have been able to work their way back up through regionals. And now I do say that yesterday they did get straight back into upper nationals, so it is fair to say that they are on a good run of form. But the question is just how good, right? As we've always seen them as a slightly inconsistent team, but coming into the season in terms of quality and last split, many people had them as a dark horse or even just counted it in for making championship playoffs. So we know they have that quality. It's just a story of which Essex do we get on the day and whether or not it goes to Game 5. Because whilst they have, I know 2 times in their history they have won Game 5s, but the rest of the time, you know, the less we talk about, the better.
Yeah, in regards to Essex, I have a feeling that when they're a team that are on fire, they are on fire. But if things don't go their way, if things don't start off the way they want, there could be some imploding going on, and I don't want to see that happen.
I mean, to be fair, I also want to point out that I'm pretty sure that Mr. Nice Guy is usually down on the starting roster for Düsseldorf, and it is Tima coming in and playing. I hope that I'm saying that right. in his spot, although I do know he is a very capable substitute, and I don't feel like their roster is considerably weakened with him, and they do start to put off the offense here, and George Burke's clear comes straight off the Essex backboard, and one triple commit later, they have got the ball clear, though. Clear it is, and they should be able to get out this first minute, barring, is it another infield play that Wet Tiger talked about? Once it is again forcing another double commit out of the Essex defense, though it is going to work out. And if Switch can get that ball from end to end, no. Tima's going to be okay and get that one out of the net. Live as well as then get a demo and clear himself. Fantastic play from the substitute, I think it's fair to say, as Dusseldorf, they're showing up, they're here to play too, and Switch couldn't quite find the angle. The bottom corner of the shot as well, saved as well, as there was no gap for Switch to get the ball for. And then the save on the second shot. Dusseldorf defense certainly showing up strong.
Yeah, I feel that Essex have come out the gate. They're like, we're going to go for the ball. We're going to be fast to the ball. And that's what they're doing. And they took Dusseldorf by storm in that first minute. But now Dusseldorf are starting to, take a leaf out of Essex's book. And now the double commits from both teams have been quite evident. But it's game one. They're feeling each other out. And you can tell that the plays, the demos now. And this one looking hot from the start.
Just curious on just how accurate it seems that our analyst Wet Tiger was on the Dusseldorf side. Once again, looking for the infield play, and this time they find it, as well as Timo getting the credit at the end as it comes off the roof of his car, whisking it over the Essex defense. George Burke and Switch second best on that play, and it is the Germans, Dusseldorf Dragons, that they strike first and take first blood.
Yeah, those are always difficult. If you don't have someone already positioned on that backboard, those are just hard to read, especially when they can get an extra touch. I mean, those are the positions you just don't want to be in as a player. And in defense, it is just so difficult to read them in comparison to someone coming onto the ball. And we just saw it there.
It's fair to say that Essex certainly are underdogs coming into this, but you and I both know that they have the quality to give Dusseldorf more than a run for their money, and that I would love to see, as we do have, unfortunately, the rule one denied by physics, as Switch just getting on top of the Dusseldorf player there was unable to hold in a rule one, as we will still have a 3v3 on our cards at halftime here in game one, as Lexano just nearly connecting with the second touch, and George Berg, after the whiff on the defense, will punish, and Essex will find the equaliser.
After that last series, I don't think we could doubt an underdog again, to be honest with you. But this underdog, I believe, starting really hot, and you can tell that the Essex are feeling it. They're feeling themselves right now. They're on that win streak in the domestic. They're going to start in the Europe.
Indeed they are, as Limbo, a nice doink there, going to put the Germans up in the midfield there, as Dusseldorf just showing that they have that quality in link-up play. As I say that, Timo goes for a dribble and Lexano just immediately shuts it down. Switch may get a shot, passes it across so unselfishly, and a nice play it was, though. Limbo, such an experienced player on the Dusseldorf side, read that play so well, and that is a huge interception on defense. Though with a double commit, they won't be able to convert on the offense, though pressure they will still have, and Switch forces a great 50 like that, as we appear to have quite an even game on our hands, don't we?
Yeah, it's quite even, and you can tell the difference in the play. I would say Essex, the more erratic, the faster plays, but Dusseldorf, they play as a team, and that is a perfect example of almost capitalizing off it. They play as a team. You heard it from Wet Tiger. They play together, they play matchmaking together, and they put in the work, even with a sub. I'm sure they still play with them too, and oh my word, you can tell the different teams, they have their own play styles, but it's working for both at times.
The question is, can Dusseldorf sort of ride the offense that Essex are trying to put up? They're coming in all bubbly, all very much up for it, and whether they can sort of ride that storm out is going to be the question, as they all nearly link up on team play with a whiff on defense. Switch was required to make that save as we go into the final minute of game one, and with Essex we talk about often being a momentum team. This game one, certainly to me at least, has more meaning than usual in terms of, Limbo nearly getting the dunk on Lexano, but make the save he does, as Switch will be able to clear that one out of the corner, but Essex very much on the back foot right now, and the momentum team, if they could get that game one, it would bode so well for them and their confidence, as we know that they are one of the best sides in the UK when they have that confidence. It's just whether Dusseldorf can knock it out of them, as George Burke says no to that fake, tries to get it around the defense, and Limbo has to pinch it with the inside of his post, but can Turin get the touch? He can. My Little Pony Lovely name into the corner. Is going to get beaten though. Lexano with the touch. Off the backboard is the third there. Switches there with the shot. But My Little Pony with the block. Into the final 10 seconds we go. George Burke off the side, but the clear is there. A Switch, he's up. Dusseldorf, can they respond to this on the defense? George Burke is up, but the shot is soft. Limbo with the touch. It's right to the side. Surely we have overtime here. The ball is still up though. It's floating high. George Burke has to be on the back foot. Tuma over across, looking for My Little Pony, and they nearly connected. Dusseldorf did, but just not quite. We have overtime, one apiece in game one.
Yeah, Dusseldorf, they're definitely holding against the pressure, and the double touch is beautiful! It's absolutely beautiful from My Little Pony.
Unbelievable read off the corner wall. The first touch was exquisite, and you saw it, and it just felt like he couldn't miss, as the save was not there from Essex, and a huge double touch from the Dusseldorf player is going to be the difference maker in game one. And the question is, how do Essex respond to that?
Right. This is what I feel is going to decide the game. How are they going to come out in game two? Because that was an overtime loss, right? So it's just a 1-goal loss. That can feel even worse. So they had chances to win that. And I feel that Essex, if they have the mental fortitude, they'll come back in this game too and play just the same way they did. But I have a fear, Tylacto, that they might crumble. If there's cracks beginning to show in the mentality anywhere, then it could just come crumbling down on them.
I think the major worry for me is that if Dusseldorf get the first goal in this game too, right? Because Essex, they actually outshot their German opposition in that first game and easily could have had it. At the end of the day, it went to overtime. I mean, you just think rationally like that, then it's just easy to see that you're still very much in this series. Though Essex, not always the rational thinkers, you know, temporary implosions have happened with this roster, but they are so damn good, and I feel like they just have to remember that. And if they keep that confidence, they can get a strong start in game two, which I feel like is exactly what they need.
Rocket League is oftentimes about the confident team, about their momentum in many different ways. You know, it's very interesting to see what will happen in this game two. This is probably one of the most exciting game twos that I've thought of, to be fair, because of the implications of the teams.
Indeed, as well. We would have to have another reverse sweep on our hands if Dusseldorf. Hang on a minute, the demo there looking for the infield, couldn't quite reach the touch. So My Little Pony shot way too hard, and Limbo looking to pass to himself. No success there. George Berg gonna dunk that one out. Another infield coming out as Limbo just whiffing the contact. Dusseldorf so dangerous on the infield, just as where Tiger said. As My Little Pony looking for the pass. Does it go up to the ceiling? Not quite. As Limbo going to control it in the midfield. Can he get it around Lexano? No. As well. Limbo going to be up on the ceiling as we say that. Going to keep moving that ball around the Essex defense. Going to be poking, prodding, waiting for a mistake, or will they be able to deal with this okay, as George Berg will get it deep into the Dusseldorf half, but is forced back immediately. Gets the mid boost, has to rotate a Switch, trying to get the ball off defense. Another demo coming through, this time from Limbo, but Switch gets it past his teammate as it's forced midfield. It's still dangerous. Limbo, oh my goodness, couldn't quite make the save, but the crossbar comes to his rescue as George Berg, with such a difficult shot, couldn't quite find the angle.
Yeah, the angle was very difficult for George there, and you could tell that the defender was beat, really, but the crossbar is the MVP of Rocket League usually, and another example there to add to the archive that the crossbar has.
That's so true, as George Berg will try and make amends to that, as the frustration, you feel like if Essex continually get chances but can't convert, it will be more and more annoying. That Switch, maybe with a chance for a double touch here, is going to run out of boost. Does surprise George Berg, which surprises Lexano. A domino effect on defense right now for Essex. Can they keep it together? Yes, they can, surely bumping each other, but Switch will have the ball. 50'd onto the backboard though. That was very dangerous, but Tima, his shot going to leave a lot to be desired, and Dusseldorf going to sort of let them off for that one, as breaking off defense Essex will again, but they seem to really struggle to actually break off defense and keep the ball in the process, right?
Yeah, they just don't always know what each other want to do, it feels, in defense. Again, there's just another example, a double commit, and Dusseldorf have scored, and you have to admit, it's once again the defense of Essex. They have the capabilities, but it doesn't feel like they're listening to each other at times.
Tima, so good with the goal steals right now. I got to give him a shout out for that fantastic stat padding from him. He's actually, you know, rescued his shot percentage there, as he now looks like he's shot 100%, and we'll forget about the very weak one earlier in the game, as Lexano is unable to find the net that could have for a second been open there, but Dusseldorf doing a very good job on both sides of the field as Limbo buying a lot of time, and that's all they really need to do here. It's Essex who have to come out of their shell and come out of their half, which is what they've been struggling to do at an even scoreline anyway. As they do flick it away, but once again, Limbo is there, slaps it high. Switch forced to commit boost, touching it down to the corner. Can he get a second touch? He's up for it. Does beat out the Dusseldorf player, but is there any follow-up? George Burke puts it forward, confuses teammate, but he does make the touch, and most importantly, it's in the direction of a teammate. So good at linking up is the German side right now as Limbo 50ing it with the wall, pinches it up nice and high, confident, gets the boost steal here, and George Burke, he's going to have to flick it away, hopefully, and once again, the midfield is all black here. The shot comes out. My Little Pony, it's off the crossbar. Limbo with the shot is high, it's awkward. Lexano has to get across, but can't in time, and it finds the top corner, and they poked and prodded for long enough, and the second goal they will get as they look for their second game in the series.
Limbo is a very dedicated Rocket League player. He's been around for a long time. Me and you, Tylacto, will know of Limbo, and he's been around and he knows his way around this field, and he is showing the composure with his team right now.
My Little Pony, oh my goodness, it's gonna find the back of the net off an Essex player as My Little Pony threatening again, once again with the double touch. He's so good at them. Crossbar down, and unfortunately for George Burke, he's gonna help it in to the back of the English net as it will be 3 for Dusseldorf, who are running away with this game and could be running away with the series.
Tylacto, I just want to say, if you're conceding those two kind of goals back to back, you know what those kind of goals were. The ones where you just miss out. Think about what that's going to do to the mentality again. They're on ropes. You have to say they've got to pull something back right now.
I mean, a miracle save on defense from Switch, I think it was, but you feel like it might just be too little too late as they in such a difficult situation right now. Switch will pop it up, but it looks like Team is going to get the dunk, and do that he does, though. Awkward 50 means that Essex do have some offense here, and we did see the Badgers get 3 goals quickly earlier in the day, but it feels like that was a bit of a freak of nature as, I don't know, Dusseldorf feel like they're all on top right now. Though with a demo, they will be restricted to just the 3-teamer with a shot. It's going to be wild and over the bar, but doesn't really need to be on target right now. He's looking for a demo, looking to get inside those Essex heads. Unfortunately, it's going to look like if Essex want to take this series, it will have to be in their worst enemy. It'd be a game 5, and right now, we're so ahead of ourselves because they actually have to get there in the first place right now.
I mean, we've said how tough that game 3 is. To start a reverse sweep is the most difficult part of a reverse sweeper sometimes, except that game 5 overtime that you don't want to think about. But so you kind of have to say, I mean, this game you've got to move on. At this point of time, Essex have just got to realise, look, we've got to move on to the next game, and they've got to really shift their mentality to just one game at a time at this point.
Indeed they do. I just do worry for them as it does just feel like Dusseldorf really are outclassing them right now, at least in this game they have, as well, it feels like when Essex are at their best, they're more than capable of competing, but right now they're used to their best just being way too much for the opposition, right? As well, Exodo chooses not to score that one. Well, at least have that mental game on his side heading into game 3, but it's like, if they don't show up with their best right now, it's going to be too late, and their game differential is going to hurt because of it.
Yeah, my sort of issue with it is that they play as a team that is quick, and I said that at the start, but the problem with that, if they face a wall, which is Dusseldorf, how are they going to react? Are they going to try and climb over that wall, or are they just going to keep headbutting it? That's sort of my thoughts really with Essex, because Essex have the capabilities of climbing up all the way, but it's about starting that climb. And I don't know if they're going to do it. I really hope to see more games. I don't want to see a 3-0 here. Yeah. I want the English team to come back. But I like the Switch here isn't instantly going into the next one. Yeah, I hope that they're talking. I want to look to Switch here as the maybe more competitive player that I've seen personally. All of them, of course, like players in competitive. But Switch, I want to see him take this leadership role and let his team know it's one game at a time. They can do this and that they have the capabilities to.
Yeah, they do as well. It's certainly a big ask for Essex. As you say, I would love to see them come back too, but I will not be hedging my bets at any point here. Dusseldorf just look too good right now as Essex want to try and put their speed to the ball into effect, but when they don't even get into the midfield, it's just pretty much useless as they constantly have to be reactive. as the midfield was just painted black for the entire of that last game. And the question is, if they don't get this first goal, I just can't see them getting this game or the series. They really, it feels like, has to strike first in this game.
Yeah, it really does. If they are going to take this game and then take it into the series, they really need to start well, but no one's pressuring it! Oh, Tylacto, it's just the first 30 seconds, but I have worries already. What has happened here?
Once again.
Yeah,
literally.
it's just...
My Little Pony's just styled on them. Literally
I don't
just
have
styled
words.
on them.
I don't have words. Go ahead, Tylacto, I don't have words.
He literally just tucks it into the bottom of the corner, making the Essex defense look like absolute fools, and that is the last thing they need for their confidence in this series-defining game.
Beautiful.
3 is all the fast response, exactly what Essex need there. Doing a bit of a Dusseldorf, giving back some of their own medicine as they tuck it in with the infield. No respect given to Limbo in his missed clear. George Burke, no hesitation, finds the back of the net.
Yeah, I was bigging up Limbo for being an experienced player, but he showed a bit of inexperience there by missing quite a simple clip. But there's an issue here. Oh, the bounce.
Oh my goodness, I figured My Little Pony was the player you'd want at the end of that play, and yet the back of the net was not found. And a big save comes out of the Essex defense. Those saves is what they need to be making. Teamer, call him a substitute. This is absolutely filthy. Flip reset under Lexano, over switch, finding the top corner. Dusseldorf making it look easy in game 3 here.
If you want to substitute, I think you would want to look Timmer's way. What a performance and what a play to possibly, to put his team in front right now. That's just what they need, and Essex have been dealt a big blow because they did so well to get that goal back. Now they need to do it again.
Hang on a minute, George Burke is in the right place to do so, but he doesn't quite find it as it's whisked away, bouncing back into the Essex defense once again as Turin looking for the infield switch, again caught on the backboard. The Essex defense not interested in challenging any plays. They just want to climb up the backboard, hide under the covers and look away because this is just filthy. Dusseldorf making it look so easy again. Beautiful team play. Couldn't really have missed it. Switch completely outplaying himself, and it's 3-1. And to me, the series just looks over.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite over just yet, but it is looking tough for Essex. But they are on the attack and switch. Is the player that I said could do this, and he has shown it here. He's got quality, Tylacto. He can use it. He just needs to get his head in the game, and he puts it over My Little Pony and strikes back for Essex. They're only 1 goal away from tying it up.
They do need the quick answer plays, and exactly what they do. The end-to-end game probably favouring Essex, although their defence has to be tightened up. We have a shootout here in game 3, and can they come out on top of it is the question, and I'm not sure they will. It's back and forth, but once again, Dusseldorf, it's their turn to score quickly as the defense from Essex once again in shambles, and My Little Pony once again finding the back of the net. It's a hat-trick now.
Yeah, Essex are just struggling in that defensive half. I mean, on the offense, they are lethal. But you have to say their defense there's double commits, there's missed touches, and it's just it's just not what you want to see from an Essex perspective. Oh my word.
Really switch, looking for the infield. They had success with it earlier, but Limbo and Turin, the difference in terms of challenging is completely night and day. You know, Essex attempt an infield and Dusseldorf are fighting to see which one gets to intercept it. Whereas when Dusseldorf infield, half of Essex's team are on their own backboard, and it's just a disaster that they do still have 3 minutes or so to work with, but it's just going to be so difficult, as this game 3 always proves to be. And if that is the trend, it's going to get even harder as Limbo will get himself on the board once again. Dusseldorf linking up in the midfield. It's majestic team play, and they are just strolling away with this series right now.
Timmer, take a bow. That pass was perfection, putting it on a silver plate, give him a silver spoon and basically feeding it to him. Oh my word, what a beautiful play. And you have to say, I kind of agree with you from earlier, Tylacto. This is looking very ropey for our Essex side.
Just the pain and we saw the typical Birmingham performance earlier in the day where they lost when it mattered most, and unfortunately the confidence disappeared. And once again, Essex proved themselves to be such a mental team that can easily get inside their own heads when they start losing, and losing is all they've done in this series so far. But to say that would be a discredit to this Dusseldorf team, who have made their lives an absolute nightmare. Essex haven't played notably bad, but Dusseldorf have just been better, and they link up again with the infield. 90% of their goals seem to have been infield plays, just as Wet Tiger said, and Essex just don't seem to choose or be able to do anything about it.
The main issue I'm seeing, Tylacto, is that second man in defense. At least 3 of their goals, that second man is just being chaotic. He's not getting contact with the ball. He's just throwing himself away. And that third person who's on that backboard flailing about, it's like, what am I meant to do? There's no way I'm gonna get the save. And it's just time after time they've been shown for their bad defense in this series.
I mean, the thing is, right, there's usually infield plays are a huge risk to commit to, and yet Dusseldorf have been absolutely no fear in terms of trying for them. As a good shot from Essex will find the back of the net. They still need 3, but a goal is certainly what they needed sooner rather than later to keep themselves in it, with a nice demo from Lexano to ensure that. But oh, it's a big ask right now. And what we were talking about infields, usually infields are such a double-edged sword, right? Half the time you infield, you could end up getting yourself conceded on, but Dusseldorf, they haven't even been challenged, and it genuinely shocks me that I seem to not have seen Essex challenge a single one of them, and almost every time they're caught on the backboard, it feels like they're shooting themselves in the foot. But Dusseldorf, they're just being smart with it, you know? If it's not broken, don't try and fix it, as it continues to work out for them, and they've gotten 6 in this Game 3, and what a game it would be, because I just can't see Essex coming back and winning 7-6, can you?
No, I don't quite see it. I mean, there's a play here, but I just...
Oh, the shot has to be better. It's a great play from Essex, but, like, they could be running away with this game if they just hadn't conceded 6, you know?
If they hadn't done that, then maybe they would have had a shot. But yeah, I do feel like the Essex from Game 1 wouldn't have let some of these infield passes happen, but the Essex of Game 3, they let it run riot, but they got a goal back. Another goal. It's only 2 now, Tylacto. 47 seconds.
They're trying to bait us into believing, as Lexano with a fantastic 50, and George Book, a beautifully placed shot past the 2 remaining defenders. 40 seconds on the clock. 4 goals they've got, but can they get 2 more? It's still a huge ask for Essex. They would love to have one off the kickoff here. They've got Boost on the wall, looking to get it to the backboard. Gets the touch, but My Little Pony still making that one away to the side. Huge from the Dusseldorf defense here, is off the corner wall. George Burke looking for the infield towards Switch. The shot had to get past 3 goalies, and unfortunately it wasn't on target as well. He's going to try and make amends, but with a double commit from Lexano, that's going to be hard to do. He does make the block, but George Burke is required again on the defense. 20 seconds now on the clock. Turin, a beast of a player right there. Timo getting the big dunk that I'm pretty sure will kill away this game, as surely not Essex. With no time left on the clock, I say Lexano, if he puts that one away, maybe a kickoff goal was possible, as this one's crossbar down. Switch will find it. There is 4 seconds on the clock. I don't want to get my hopes up, but the fact is Essex have fought back in this game, and Dusseldorf do need to hold on.
So you're saying there's a chance, Tylacto? You're saying there's a chance this kickoff has to go well for Essex if they want a chance?
Surely not. The kickoff, 1 out by Limbo. However, it is slammed downfield by Switch. Tima with the backboard read. Down it goes, but it's kept up in the corner. My Little Pony has to clear it, but up it still stays. George Berg off the corner, but Lexano is beat. Limbo, the experienced man, putting it downfield. Slammed, and they could have got another. Dusseldorf slapped them in the face, saying, ha, you thought. And they take the 3-0 with an absolute shootout in Game 3 there.
What a beautiful performance from Dusseldorf. I am impressed by each one of their players. I mean, when I first looked at their team, I saw Limbo sticking out to me, but Timmer and My Little Pony hitting double touches. Timmer just, air dribbling around like it's nothing. It's just beautiful. Timmer setting up his teammates so much. Just the whole Dusseldorf team just working together, and you can tell that what Wet Tiger said was true. They work together, they play together, Tylacto, and they put in the effort.
honestly just a pleasure to watch them play, and you can't say they didn't deserve it. Unfortunately for Essex, I feel like they might have deserved a game after a comeback like that, but unfortunately for them, it does bode well. They can keep their heads held high. Sure, they made mistakes, but it was still a good performance against a much higher seeded team. Sure, they won't be able to get any games to help them out in the group in terms of tiebreakers, but I hope they do take confidence out of that, as it could easily have been a closer series. But credit to Dusseldorf, that was efficiency, and 3-0, they will take that series, as I do hope we'll be able to get an interview with one of them. That we'll confirm when we know, but of course, until then, we'll be jumping back, and we will see you after a break. Thank you.
Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Only just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up, baby. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna light it up.
And welcome back. Thank you, Tylacto and Distan. In fact, whoa, Tylacto's still here. But we are here with the final interview of today after Essex fall to the Dusseldorf Gaming Dragons. Limbo is on the call with us. Limbo, that game 3, you cut it a bit close, but how are you feeling after that win?
Oh yeah, it's a nice one. It's good to be 2-0 this after 2 games, but of course I'm really not happy about how the last game ended. We kind of lost pressure in some situations where we could have kept it up easily, and just something we have to work on in the future.
Was third in Germany. How was it like playing against these European teams? I've asked it to pretty much every winner of the series tonight, but you, as one of the newcomers to the EURC, just joining us after getting qualification through Uniliga, what's it like playing against these new teams in the competition?
It's different. The level is a lot higher than in the Uniliga, like on average, obviously. So it's, but in the end, it's still Rocket League. It's still 3v3, so there isn't too much of the difference. It's just the games are always against high quality opponents.
Tylacto, you're watching this series. I'm sure you have a little bit of a reaction to what happened. So, what do you have on your mind to ask Limbo?
The thing for me, Limbo, was from watching it, it genuinely felt like 90% of your goals were in-field passes, and it was so great, and I respect it because it just kept working, right? But do you feel like it sometimes is your downfall when teams are actually aggressive enough to sort of intercept them, as Essex every time they just sort of ended up being on their own backboard and you just got a free goal every time? Is that what it feels like sometimes, or does it just work because you're just that good at them?
So far, it really hasn't not worked in relevant games, but since we have a new addition in Timor, he is also quite capable of solo plays, as he showed, and also My Little Pony had his nice double touches. We can also play differently, especially now with our new player who's more a once-focused player.
Yeah, sorry, I was like coming in. He was initially on your roster as a substitute, but he's actually permanently on the roster now. Is that right?
Yes, Mr. Nice Guy kind of retired after
That's
last
fair.
season.
Understandable then. Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean that you've already had such success already with a new roster, and as you say, you pointed out that there were some fantastic solo plays in that series as well. As Orion, I feel like that it was just painful for us to watch from Essex's perspective. I don't know if you wanted to ask Limbo whether he feels bad for them or like, because I do personally.
Oh yeah, by the end of game 2, I was already digging the grave for my prediction. That is well and truly 6 feet under press F to pay respects to Essex. But yeah, Limbo, like, did you think, were you scared at any point that Essex could kind of flip the switch and get back into the series, or was that quite a comfortable one for you as series go?
After the first minute of the second game, I felt really confident. The first game was really close with the overtime.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Even though the goal we conceded was kind of rubbish, really just a simple mistake on our end. Really not necessary, but it was close. I expected the second game to be closer as well, but we gained confidence, we increased our pressure, and I had no doubt going in game 3.
Yeah, so you've played against one team from the UK now. Are there any teams, other teams from NSE that you've kind of watched on stream and gone, oh, we might struggle against them, or do you think you're confident going against your British counterparts?
We've scrimmed against Beckett once, but it was quite even, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They've beaten Loughborough. Is that how you pronounce it?
Loughborough, yeah. We'll take it.
And so, kind of not scared. Respect, but I'm not really scared. I think we can match them quite well.
Well, great result this evening. Thank you, Limbo, for joining us on the desk. Wow.
Sure, thanks
what
for having
a
me.
way to end today. 6-5 in game 3. So thank you very much, Limbo, for the entertaining series, and good luck for the rest of your season.
Thanks a lot. See you next week.
Certainly. It'll be next Monday when the next EURC streams will come to the EURC stream and possibly NSE if they let us take over once again. But Tylacto, Orion, thank you for joining me on the desk. Certainly a great evening for Rocket League in the European university scene. There'll be streams from these leagues over the next few weeks, and in fact going onwards for certain leagues. But as for now, thank you very much for the rest of the casters, the rest of the desk, the rest of the producers, and of course our admin Scenarius, who works very hard behind the scenes. Not the only one on this desk who definitely appreciates his effort. But that'll be all for us tonight. We'll see you Monday. Thank you very much for joining us.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep waiting.